Hi, welcome back to Reddit Stories. I'm Shane. I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
And
today's theme. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that it's not a good look to wear her bonnet in public?
Oh. Like how you say that as I am wearing like a version of a bonnet, basically.
We quickly did a search. We're like, yes.
Also, I didn't want to do my hair today. Okay.
There's something about Shane saying bonnet that's like, what?
He knows.
I, a 22-year-old man, have been dating my girlfriend Trinity, a 22-year-old woman, for about a year now. We met in college and have been dating ever since then. For context, I am a white male and she is mixed with African American and Native American. On to the problem. My girlfriend's hair is super thick and curly, and she often wears it in a huge afro or will add extensions every couple of months. She spends hours on perfecting it and has so many hair care products, I don't know how she can differentiate what she needs. I've come with her to the beauty supply store a couple of times, and I was overwhelmed by how many products she needs in one run, often costing around $200 or more depending on what she needs. I personally only use a bottle of shampoo, conditioner, and maybe pomade on occasion. Yesterday, she ran out of hair for her extensions, braids, and needed to go on a quick run in order to get more. She put on some comfy clothes and her bonnet and told me she'd be only out for a max of 20 minutes or so since the store isn't that far away. Here is where I might be the asshole. I told her to leave her bonnet here since she's only going to be gone for a couple of minutes. When she asked why, I told her that she looked kind of unput together with her bonnet on and should wear something like a hat instead. She then said that it was her choice to wear her bonnet whenever she wanted to, and that I didn't know what I was talking about considering I don't even need to wear one myself. She then explained that it was to protect her hair and the progress she made, but I don't understand why something like a baseball cap couldn't do the same thing since it protects mine. She huffed and said that it's not the same thing and to worry about myself before telling her what is considered put together or not. She came back around 30 minutes later and continued her hair. I tried to talk to her, but she gave me the cold shoulder and said that she was focusing. I kind of got frustrated and told her that she was getting upset over nothing. She then told me to get out and told me that I have no business in telling her what she can get upset over.
Period.
She hasn't talked to me since then, but she's posted on social media of her extensions. I tried to call her, but she didn't answer. I think she's blowing everything out of proportion. It's literally just a bonnet. She could have worn something else. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Where do we start?
Oh my God. Maybe let's start with how long it takes to get these extensions in, so everyone is on the same page.
Okay, yeah.
So it takes. First off, let's get up for Trinity for doing her own extensions.
Yeah, all right.
That's dedication.
Okay.
That's a
The
Friday
fact
night.
that she is braiding her own hair is already a task that not a lot of people are able to do. It costs a lot of money to get it done. Our own Kiana in this office does braid her own hair. And Kiana, how long does it take? 12 hours? Yeah. It takes about 12 hours to braid.
Kiana has mentioned, she's like, yeah, Saturday I braided my hair.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, damn. Like,
Yeah.
And that's a whole Saturday.
Whole Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Whole Saturday. The fact is that she seemed focused. It's like, yeah, bitch, you gotta focus. You get a f***ed up part in there, it's bad.
It's all over.
The other part is that he wanted. I haven't worn a baseball cap in about 8 years myself because it won't fit. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Take your
so
time.
sorry.
Take your time.
I don't know what hat. Shane, like you and I, we're not gonna wear the same hat. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? The Try Not to Laugh we just filmed, I put a hat on. It didn't buckle. It looked crazy. It looked wild because it doesn't fit on my head, right?
Yeah.
When she gets the extensions, then she could probably wear the hat. But the great thing about a bonnet is that there's a lot of elastic to it. It's a lot of fabric, right?
A lot of space.
A lot of space in there. You could throw whatever.
You can fit
part-
everything in it.
Everything in it. You can throw a lot of things in there. So 20 minutes, it makes sense, Trinity, why you just threw it all up in there. Whatever progress you had, because she probably had the whole back done, and then she had a little top knot at the top, and he's like, babe, you look good. Why put on a hat?
I don't get why he cares so much. like, you know, she's going out to run errands. Why does he care what she looks like when she's going out to run
Because
errands?
men. No.
I think the man is bringing up a very clear example of respectability politics. Oftentimes, it's basically like Black women are supposed to act a certain way, to be seen as respectful, to be as respectable, to be seen as like I guess like in line with society, right? So it's people not wanting like Black women to have cornrows in the workplace. Like if you look at like Disneyland's old guidelines of like what was accepted and what is not, I think that's a good indicator of like they're like, oh, no dreadlocks, no locks, like things like that. Having straight hair is like kind of part of that whole conversation too.
So it's almost like asking this guy like, what's the difference between a baseball cap and a bonnet, and him being like, like there's no difference. They're really like.
Yeah, one is culturally tied and one is a baseball hat.
Well, the verdict was asshole. Everyone else agrees. The first comment I see here is, ooh, you're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole. Ooh. First off, no, she can't wear something else. Bonnets are literally designed to protect black hair in a way that other caps cannot. But besides that, how on earth is it your business what she wears out and about? Hell, if she wanted to go out in a bikini or in a gray smock, it's none of your business if you think she looks put together or not. Jesus Christ. Someone else said, you're the asshole. First of all, you don't get to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't wear. Secondly, your racism is showing. If it were a white woman wearing a hat, you wouldn't be telling her how unkempt she looks.
Unkempt.
He responded saying, I really didn't think I was being racist by telling her what I thought. Wearing a bonnet is like wearing PJ pants to me.
Oh, no.
Something that you wear to sleep. If I'm wrong, then I will gladly take the blame, but I had no meaning to harm her. I think getting frustrated with her was wrong, but I sincerely thought I was just telling her what I thought. I love my girlfriend dearly. I love everything about her, her culture, her hobbies, everything.
Do you?
I did not mean to hurt her whatsoever. Please let me know what I can do.
Has he ever asked her why she wears it to sleep?
I'm getting the sense that he doesn't ask her too many questions. He tells her stuff. There is an edit here. He edited saying,
We're not together.
she hasn't come back.
She hasn't come back from the store.
I didn't realize that I was being racist! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I did not mean any harm to her whatsoever, and I really want to make it up to her. I feel like a moron for even saying anything about it, and I overstepped. I do not have the right to say anything about her appearance at all, and I wasn't trying to be controlling either. I really do want to make it up to her, regardless if we are together or not, by the end of this. There's another edit.
You should get cornrows.
Oh my God.
With like Rastafarian hair in it. Yeah, just snatch up those little edges. Lots of gel in there so you can get it nice and tight and it'll stay in for a while. Maybe a week.
He'll be bald in a week.
Oh no.
The second edit, he goes, thank you for your comments. I realized that I had my head up my ass and I plan on educating myself, regardless if we end up breaking up or not. I'm going to the shop she goes to tomorrow to pick up some of the hair products that she uses so she has more of it, and I will be personally apologizing to her. I really did not know that hair was a part of her culture, as she hasn't really brought it up before, but now I know. I'm going to try and do better personally and talk to some of my African-American friends about hair culture as well to get a better understanding of it.
African-American friends.
I love her so much. I did not mean to hurt her like that. Thank you for helping me understand better.
Baby, I'm so sorry. Here's some blue magic. I know that you like to use this, and I went to the beauty store. I went to the beauty supply, and the woman at the counter, she helped me find this, and I just would love to be back in your life if possible.
Hey, baby, I got that Shea Moisture for you.
Look, I know I can never understand, but I hope you understand this gesture.
So this was posted like only a month ago. He's 22. Do you think it's acceptable at all for a 22-year-old man to not understand something of like this? To not understand that hair is a huge part of black culture?
Is he in America?
Yes, I'm assuming because of how often he says African American and Native American. I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, I think he needs to know. I think it's fair at 22. He's an adult.
Yeah, I agree. And also they've clearly been together for They've been dating for about a year now. So a whole year.
But he also has said he has black friends. Oh, sorry, he has African American friends.
Yes, he did say that, and he'll be asking them.
He'll be asking
a lot of questions.
Yes.
Walking up to him, it's like, so why do you wear your hair like that? How do you
So
start
what's
a
going on?
conversation? Like, so tell me your secrets. No. You want to see my hair? You want to see why? You want to see why we wear
Let's
this?
see it.
You want to reveal the secret?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shane? Shane?
All my life I had to fight.
Shane's like, what are you talking about? It looks good.
Tell me I look beautiful.
Great.
Tell me I look beautiful,
Tell
Shane.
me he looks beautiful.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
I think, like, even if he hasn't had the proper education, I just feel like after a year, you notice, even without the conversation, he should notice this thing and be like, oh, like, this is clearly very important to you. Like, you notice behaviors, you observe your partner, and, like, it just feels like he's been not paying attention at all.
Yeah, because especially if if she does her own hair, or he says that she notices she gets her hair done every couple months. So either he's not around when she does it, or she kind of like leaves and comes back, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, like, and doesn't know anything about the process.
It's magic.
Or, you know what I mean? Or
One random day she's gone. The next day she has braids.
yeah. Honestly, like that's my favorite part of like getting braids sometimes. I was in college and I remember I had gone to Nigeria over winter break and I came back with braids in, and this girl, I will not name her, she came into the office, we were all working, and she's like, oh my God, it looks like rope. And it was just after Chescale's video came out, like, what is it, what white women say to black women? Shit white girls say. And we had literally just watched it, and then she came, like, the timing was beautiful. Like, you couldn't, it was honestly very sweet. Like, I don't hold anything against her, but the time she came in right, and she's like, oh my God, it's like rope. Like, how does your hair get so long? And it's like, I grew it. I grew it.
Whoa!
It came out this way.
It came out this way.
That's pretty funny.
But it's you know, the thing too is like there's so many, like, people ask wild questions sometimes, but it's like wigs have been a thing for a really long time. So like to not understand like how a wig works is also, I don't think, super like acceptable. I don't need you to know how to install a wig, but like there are wigs that are not costume wigs out in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just think like the overarching thing, and we see this in so many stories, is like you just don't need to make comments about people's appearance. Like you don't need to concern yourself with it. Like I think that's also the easy route for so much of this. It just was inappropriate.
And like, I feel like it's one thing to like ask questions. Like I feel like with your friends, like it's okay to ask questions. Like I have some friends I have asked some questions, and I gladly will answer the question to my friend. But the part that pisses me off is that he's getting upset about her reaction. Cause it's like, well, you don't know, you don't understand why she's upset, and now you're upset that she's not giving you the time of day. Like, pick one. You, this man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
All right, next one. Do you remember the story? There was a young woman who joined, she started a new job, and there was a camera in her
Oh
office.
my God. Oh my God.
I watched this episode. I don't remember this.
Not the cameras.
She had a camera in her office, and she kind of questioned it, but she's like, maybe they're inactive. But anytime she would like be done with her work and had nothing to do, her boss would be like, oh, here's some work for you to do. And she'd be like, I think they're actively watching me in my office.
And she was like, I it's not like a big deal. Like, I don't really want to like raise a concern. Like,
and all the
probably,
comments
out
are
of fear of losing her
What
job.
have they done to us as a society that we're just like, it's okay?
Yeah.
I think when you're in your early 20s and you finally land your first corporate gig, you don't want to bungle it by upsetting.
And
the
all the
boss.
comments were like, dude, this is crazy. You can't stand for this. Like, talk to them about this. Get this, figure this out.
So scary.
So we talked about it here on the show, and now there's an update.
Yes.
So here we go.
Yes.
Update. I don't think my boss knows that I know there's a camera in my office. Okay. There's no HR, but the camera was removed thanks to IT. So as previously stated, I still never said anything about the camera. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but I got used to being conscious of my actions so they weren't seeing anything I didn't want them to. There also isn't some sort of HR to talk to about this or anything like that. But our IT guy came in and he asked my boss about it. I wasn't in the room, so I didn't hear the entire conversation, but the first thing I heard was my boss saying that the camera was there before my office ever was. Something about using it to see the front door originally, I guess. That was a weird excuse to me, though, because I've been there for at least 2 months at this point, and there's no way they could have accidentally watched me as much as it felt like they had been. Hearing the conversation out loud also confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a camera and that I wasn't paranoid. The IT guy must have felt some type of way about it because I didn't hear what he said, but I heard my boss say something about, well, it's not like I was just watching her in her office, in a sort of quieter, sheepishly defensive way. Nobody said anything to me while they were removing it. They took it from his side, not mine, but they instead put it where it would be facing the front door. This happened just over a week ago. I haven't posted an update until now because I was waiting to see if the camera would be put back. I really wanted to see if they were going to put it back a few days after IT left because that would have been wild. But it's been over a week now. The camera is still away from me. It'll take some time before I stop feeling like I'm being watched all the time, though. I'm really curious what the guy said to my boss, whether he said something about it not being allowed or if he called it flat out creepy, haha. But I'm glad he did say something as it got resolved without me ever having to say anything. I'd like to think he low-key had my back. I've still just been acting as if I've never known and haven't said anything about it. And work carries on. Also, it's so wild that this story got put in a Smosh video. Holy shit. I heard the news back to back. First, the, hey, Smosh just bought their channel back, at the same time as, hey, your post is in a new Smosh video. I made this post mostly to vent because I couldn't tell if I had the right to feel so weird about this situation because everyone in my personal circle says it isn't that weird. So it's so nice that so many strangers are validating how I feel. To hear people talk about my experience on a public platform was a little surreal, I won't lie. This got so much more traction than I was ever expecting, but it makes me feel better. So thank you, genuinely. My experience feels validated and it feels heard, and I feel better because of it. I'm still going to stay at this job because I still like everyone here and I enjoy my field, but now I'll be doing it under a little less surveillance, LOL. If the camera comes back, I'll let you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
My boss apologized by putting a teddy bear in its place. Thankfully, it's always there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that whole camera thing, but I hear you're a big fan of cameras, so we got you one right here.
What was that? It said, I love you.
There's one comment here. I saw this post from the Smosh Pit channel. I did like the many comments on the last post, including staring into the camera. I hope they'll do an update video and we'll all be famous here. Been watching them since 6/6/2013 and still watching them today. As for the OP, I'm glad the camera's gone for now. You'll let us know if it returns. Your boss saying, well, it's not like I was just watching her in her office, kind of sounds like they're lying and could have been watching you the whole time.
Yeah.
Try bringing it up next time you're called into their office. I want to hear the deets now. OP responded, I was absolutely flabbergasted seeing it on the Smosh channel. They were the OG famous YouTubers. It was cool to see them responding to my story and talking about me. I do still check the office for cameras because I still get paranoid, but so far so good. If I ever bring it up to them, I'm definitely making an update. Yeah, if there's ever a camera, if you suspect there's a camera, watch some Smosh videos in your office
Yeah.
and see if your boss brings it up.
Yeah, can you put your boss on the camera real quick? We just want to talk to him.
You know what's funny is they're like stoked that we read this post on this video. I'm also a little starstruck that we got mentioned in a Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel so special. I feel seen.
Yeah,
It's such
it
a
actually
weird-
feels trippy because I've been a lurker on Reddit for like years and years.
Right.
So to see like just to be mentioned on like a random
Sure.
subreddit, not the Smosh subreddit, like that's you
Right.
know, that's makes sense, but it's weird.
That's
It's
funny.
it's absolutely wild. It's sort of like we've reached documentary territory where like the aspect of by observing something you are now changing it. There's no such thing as like pure observation. You know, like being observed in your office via a camera and how you can't work normal anymore. I don't know what y'all said on the first episode, but I do just want to say to anybody out there who feels like something's a little bit off with your work situation, even if it's your first job, you're just like, I don't know if this is how it's supposed to be. You gotta trust your gut and stick up for yourself. And I know it's hard. But we are controlled through the fear of like, well, I guess we'll take your employment away. Like, you are in the right, and there's no other way that would be excusable, even if it was just like left over from another office. Can you imagine like, oh my God, why is there this like pit of like meat slurry? It's like, oh, sorry, this used to be a butcher's shop and we changed it. We forgot to remove that pit of meat in the corner. Like,
Right.
it doesn't apply.
Yeah, because at the very least, she didn't even feel like she could ask the question.
That
And it's
sucks,
like, You should
too.
be able to go and be like, hey, is that a camera in my office? Am I being watched?
And I'm sorry you felt that way. Like, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. This is all.
But we gotta say, good guy IT.
Yeah.
Good guy IT.
All right. I'm glad she has a Tim.
I'll say
Yeah.
this, neutral guy IT. Because unless you're actively working to fix the problem, like reporting the dude, you're just sort of letting
I
things
guess we
carry on
don't
as normal.
know. I mean,
guess not.
It's still been a couple days, but
It's just like, what a weird thing for the boss to be like, it's not like I was watching her or anything. Like,
Yeah, that's
why
the
do
most
they even have to
suspicious
like
thing.
defend like why the camera? I don't know. It's just so
There's like
weird.
8 CRTVs on the walls. He's just like, yes, good. Nothing.
yeah,
It's odd.
yeah,
It's weird.
It sounds
The camera was there before it was an office.
Because they moved the front door on account of it wasn't an office before, because they moved the front door, and that's why it was there. I wasn't watching her.
to all this point. She said, I couldn't tell if I had the right to feel so weird about this situation because everyone in my personal circle says it isn't that weird.
That's insane.
Guys, that's weird.
That's insane.
There's no, if you have your own personal office somewhere, they're not allowed to record you in it. Or at the very least, without, look, at least without them telling you. Like, them to try to keep it a secret makes it all super weird. No, and it's very clear from the get-go of this one and what the boss is saying that it was weird. It was not professional in any sort of means. I can't believe, that is sad that her personal circle's like, yeah, that's not weird.
Yeah, to that end, original poster, I'm so glad that you're enjoying Smosh videos. Thank you so much. You get a snack. We want to talk to your friends real quick. Good? If anything happens to her, it's on you.
I do know a lot of people, and I can tend to be the type of person that like lets things slide. That I'm just like, if it's happening to me, I'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. But no, it's weird. That's a weird thing, and you have to stand up for it because, and I know it's scary, but like even if it's okay for you, then it might happen for someone else, and it's just you normalize that behavior, and you need to call it out. It is scary though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a situation where like employees would think it's okay and like normal to be filmed, and I guess it's like, I'm guessing like because this person's young, their friends are young, they might work in service industries where there's
Yeah.
security cameras,
Right.
like and like
Yeah.
yeah, if you're working as like a cashier or whatever, like there's oftentimes security cameras, so that's probably the context in which they're thinking. But in an office environment, there's no reason to be filming a person
Yeah.
Yeah.
in their cubicle.
I
That's
do think it's
freaky.
I could see if I was in my early 20s, new to the workforce, like in a new job, I wouldn't question things. Like you wouldn't. I
Yeah.
could see myself being that way. But if something makes you uncomfortable, you need to feel you have the right to at least ask about it.
I
Yeah,
do
for
think
sure.
we'd be remiss though if we didn't bring this up. Like, we are 3 cis men. The original poster is a woman, right?
Yes.
There is an aspect there of like power dynamic difference,
Totally.
and like, you know, we might not think like, oh, we're being watched, it's creepy, but like if you're a young woman in the workplace,
Absolutely.
there is a real possibility that a boss could be creeping on you.
Oh,
like, not that it
totally.
doesn't happen to men, but like it's just more of like a society
No.
has shown you this can already happen a bunch kind of thing. You know?
Right. I was just saying for anyone who's
Oh, for
young
sure.
and in the workspace, you just go, oh, this must be how
Sure.
this workspace is.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That was
no.
more of a general comment, not
Of
to like
course.
Shane.
Of
you know?
course. Of course. All right.
Nice, you did it.
Next
Did
one.
it.
I cheated on my girlfriend of 2 years with an escort, and the only thing that saved me was a trip to Panera Bread afterwards. I'll never ever do it again.
La Panquatia. Wait, this is my.
We had 2 very different reactions to that title. What was going on there?
No, sorry, I just got excited, and then I said an inside joke. Maybe that wasn't appropriate.
No, it's okay.
Can you say it again? I got excited because I was like, oh my God, they're getting juicier. And this happens to me all the time on Reddit stories. After the first one, I get, oh man, here we go.
This
She
one is
settles in.
This one is insane. I cheated on my girlfriend of 2 years with an escort, and the only thing that saved me was a trip to Panera Bread afterwards. I'll never, ever do it again. So this comes from True Off My Chest, where people can anonymously post confessions. So he's posting a confession here. So me and my girlfriend have been dating for 2 years now. I really love her, but I've had a sex addiction side to me that's taken over my life. Guess I don't really love her if I'm cheating on her, right? Well, after months of research, I wanted to meet this escort who I've been seeing online in ads. So I told my girlfriend goodnight and instead Ubered to the hotel where the escort is staying at. She was beautiful, but the whole time I was imagining my girlfriend. It wasn't the best experience. After we finished, I left, contemplated telling her, but didn't. So after I left, I Ubered to Panera Bread to get something to eat. My girlfriend knows I like going out to restaurants by myself. I actually prefer eating alone as I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I finish and Uber home. 2 days later, she hits me with the, "So did you go anywhere of note 2 days ago?" I say no. She then pulls up Uber receipts from my email showing I Ubered to a hotel. I logged into my email on her computer a couple months back. I was shocked. I was caught, I felt ashamed, and I was shook. I didn't know what to do, so I did the worst thing possible. I lied. I said Uber took me to the wrong location, since I'd only been there 20 minutes before Ubering to Panera. She found that plausible, I guess. I gaslit her saying that she doesn't trust me and that she doesn't love me. That Ubering there was an honest mistake. She knows it wasn't an affair because she's been with me the entire month. It was just a quick 20-minute escort visit. She couldn't ever imagine me using a sex worker. So we argue, but ultimately we agree that I went to Panera Bread and came home. It's been 2 months since then. I got an STD test and it came out clean. I want to love my girlfriend the way she deserves, although I know deep down I don't deserve it. But again, who said this world is just and fair? We're both extremely happy and in love. I don't feel much regret anymore. I hope we live happily ever after.
Okay, 20 minutes?
Okay, that doesn't allow for going up the hotel, going up the elevator, saying hi.
Yeah.
Getting going.
Foreplay.
I
Taking off
mean-
your boots. My God, if you had boots on, that's 10 minutes. What the hell is that?
That also means like, yeah, dropping off all the way up, calling an Uber to leave from there.
The boy saw this escort, did the thing immediately.
And then left and went to Panera? What do you get? Broccoli cheddar?
Oh, we haven't even gotten to that. We can't even get into this yet. I haven't even addressed the restaurant choice yet. Amanda? I'm still on how fast he pee-pee-peed himself. Ew. Okay? Because that's what people do when they come, right? They pee-pee. And then...
No, pee-pee and are not the same thing.
And then we'll get to how late this Panera's opened and how...
Wow, I didn't think about that aspect.
What if he met the escort at 6 p.m.? Also, if my boyfriend was like,
Well,
I
she
had
went to bed.
take-
It's after the girlfriend went to bed, I think, or said goodnight to her.
So either she's lame and goes to bed early, or this Panera's open late.
Or this guy, it sucks, and he's like, I'm gonna take an Uber to Panera to get broccoli cheddar soup and eat by myself because that's what I prefer.
Why'd you Uber to Panera? Well, I got drunk.
Yeah, I got drunk.
Or he goes, babe, the broccoli and cheddar makes me so nauseous. You know I don't need to be behind the wheel after.
My God.
So
Nightmare.
this is the thing. This guy is awful. I can't believe he even wrote like I don't feel much regret anymore. Like
Because he's in denial.
Yeah.
he's gonna like that. Well, it makes you a worse person, I think, when you
Yeah.
have to do that to yourself and you have to like shove it away. You then, I think, you lose a part of your soul because you like start to lose empathy.
Or it's also what they say, like when you lie to yourself so much,
You start to
especially
believe
with
it.
how short that was. He's probably just only thinking about Panera and replacing it, especially
Yeah.
with just Uber ride, just being like, I only Ubered there.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, over time, our memories alter.
Yeah,
Like memories don't
literally.
stay intact, so
You
we
could
can kind
just-
of alter our memories. So some funny wording here. After he says, so he's like, it wasn't. He talks about being with the escort, and he goes, after we finished, I left, and then after Panera Bread, he goes, I finish and Uber home.
This guy sucks, man.
I like how he-
pee-peed pee-pees and
You know what's
pee-pees.
funny? He talks about he gets a lot of enjoyment out of eating alone. I think he had more enjoyment from Panera Bread than with this.
Oh,
It
100%.
sounds
It
like
sounds
he
like
did.
it.
20 minutes, he was probably at Panera for 2 fucking hours.
Dude,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be so funny if the escort went to Panera Bread too and they both were just like,
I was like, shit. He was like, the broccoli cheddar makes me shit. He's like, well, yeah, me too.
my personal take on this is just like the reason I've never cheated on someone. And the reason I can't is because I wouldn't be able to, like, I can't keep secrets like that. I would have to
Crumble.
The only way I could like get away with not telling them is if I just broke up with them immediately. I'd be like,
Yeah.
we're done. I'm done. We're breaking up. I gotta go, and I'd have to
You
leave.
walk into a wall.
But I would still feel horrible. I would have to tell them.
That's why I think this guy is literally using banana.
Banana bread.
Whoa! Where'd you go?
That was so embarrassing.
Yeah, really embarrassing.
I think he's using Panera bread literally as like your brain's like trying to like heal itself and like not go into trauma mode and like use it as like that's the only reason why I went.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of comments here. Your girlfriend is only happy as you say because she doesn't know how disgusting you are. You lied and gaslighted her and you're making light of it in the comments. Consider the pain she will feel when she finds out, and she will because you will become more sloppy and careless. Consider the irreparable damage you're inflicting on her self-esteem by lying and gaslighting her, and leave her alone. He responds, exactly my point. It's been done. I can live with the guilt and hurt I've caused. Why does she need to be in the crossfire? I've changed and am trying to be the best I can to her. Sometimes it's not as simple as black and white morals. She won't be able to live with herself if she knew. I don't want her to feel that pain. What a fucking asshole.
I know, that's an asshole.
Crossfires.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Someone else commented, she needs to leave you before you do it again. OP said, good thing she won't and she'll never find out. I have her right where I want her. Smiley winky face. I'm happy, she's happy, and I don't plan to do it ever again. So the commenter said, I'm sorry, but I have her right where I want her gave me literal chills. Do you understand just how disgusting you sound? He said, I admit that was a terrible choice of words. I do feel remorse, but think that this way is more optimal happiness situation for both of us. I can't lose her, even if it was my fault. Another commenter said, what a piece of shit. This is so specific that here's hoping someone sees the post and shows the girlfriend. Another commenter replied, assuming it's real, it looks like someone did. Update.
Scroll down, scroll down. Scroll down.
Let's go.
Oh my god. In my fan fiction version of this, I printed out I printed out at all the Paneras because hopefully they go to Panera together.
Do you
know what
want
I mean?
some of this blanket? I can't tell.
Here we go.
Okay.
I am the girlfriend. I left him. Don't know what to do next. Parenthesis, it wasn't Panera bread, by the way. He lied about Panera bread.
What? I have made so many broccoli cheddar jokes. What the hell?
If he lied about Panera bread, I don't know what to believe.
About?
Oh
God,
my
is
God.
it like Applebee's?
How did she find this?
Okay.
Wait, keep going.
Where do I even begin? It's been a whirlwind of the last 6 hours for me. Thanks to Reddit for doing your thing. I was tipped off by a girlfriend who saw the thing come up on her recommended feed. I searched his phone and came across all kinds of messages with girls and escorts he didn't even bother deleting. Coming across these things in the boyfriend, who I thought was the most sweet guy on planet Earth, felt like a gut punch. We were together for 4 years, actually. I can't believe he did this to me. He looked at me and tried gaslighting me again about how that was all a work of fiction and that none of it was true. It was just to provoke a reaction on Reddit. But after seeing the messages, I couldn't believe him anymore. I gathered some things, left our apartment, and am staying with my parents right now. Lesson learned, y'all. Don't trust Texas boys, where I'm from. Besides that, I feel like I'm a candidate for Broken Heart of the Year because I've never felt so distraught and betrayed in my life. The pain I'm feeling can't even begin to be described by words. Maybe I'll feel more and explain later, but for now, I'm just sticking to the grieving process. He was the love of my life. He even met my mom and dad and my 2 younger brothers. I thought I was going to be able to marry him and make him the happiest guy on earth, but it turns out he had other plans. He ate at a Potbelly, not a Panera, by the way. Weird way to try and disguise it. Thanks again to Reddit. You guys saved me. I'm grappling with what to do next. I don't know where to go with in my life without him.
I thought Potbelly was only in the airport.
I have never.
What the hell?
Confession, I've never heard of Potbelly.
It's only in the airport, and it sucks.
I don't think they make restaurant onlys only for airports, Amanda.
You know what?
I think you're the weird one here.
I think you're insane and you're
this is-
gaslighting me right now.
This is look, this is the thing that I have noticed is like, I think like, if you're in a relationship with someone or if someone's talking to you and they're like, oh yeah, like I cheated, but I'm not gonna do it again. It's like, you're probably gonna do it again. Like they, especially if you're not telling them and you're not communicating and you don't feel remorse. Like he was lying to everyone. This guy's just a liar.
Did I hear that he had multiple escorts?
Multiple. Oh no, he had tons of messages with girls. lying to Reddit. He clearly was, as you were saying, he was lying to himself. He loves like telling this fiction to himself of like, I did it once and it's fine, but he's actively doing this all
Why
the
did
time.
he lie about Potbelly?
That is the
He was trying to
biggest-
cover his tracks so
the
that
biggest
nobody would find the Reddit
mystery.
story, but he wasn't doing a good enough job. He's an
Have
idiot.
you guys ever on Reddit stories had someone pop up and go, "I am the other woman"?
Yeah.
In the thing.
Have you?
We've had
Like when someone shows up in the comments as a party of the story.
this type of thing does happen on Reddit a lot.
I know, I've just never seen this in,
People
like-
find Reddit stories. Like if you're gonna post on Reddit being like, "Oh, I cheated on my girlfriend" or "I lied to my girlfriend," it's like there's a good chance she's gonna find it. Not because they'll often be like, "My girlfriend's not on Reddit," or like throwaway accounts. My girlfriend doesn't find it. It's like, but you might have friends who have Reddit and like
Yeah.
they're gonna see it.
Or they might be watching a Smosh video.
It makes me also think that her friends fucking knew that this guy,
Yeah.
and they saw this and like, that's Steve. That's Steve.
They went
for
some
sure.
piece of trash that Ubers to a Panera. I know who that
Potbelly.
is. Potbelly.
Oh,
No disrespect, but
important information here. Potbelly is a sub sandwich chain originated in Chicago in the 70s. They do milkshakes.
only?
No, they do the sub sandwich chain,
So he
but
just
they
want-
also have milkshakes.
So he wanted a sandwich and a milkshake after boinking it?
Probably because his boink
the
was
worst
only
word.
little, because it was 5 minutes, and he probably was like, "I need something else."
Okay.
Something else.
All right. Look, that one seems done. I'm happy she found out. I feel bad for her, but like, dude, she dodged a massive bullet.
But what?
This asshole was like, we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together. No,
I got her right where I want her.
She got out of it. Thank
That is
God.
some big betrayal legacy.
No, no.
All right. Next story. I, a 30-year-old man, regret telling my girlfriend, 26-year-old woman, all my pet peeves towards our relationship and her. So this was posted on Relationship Advice and also posted on Am I the Ex? Am I the Ex is a subreddit for people that stories are cross-posted onto there of people who do not realize they've already been broken up with. So, like, they are unaware that the relationship is over, and so
Wow.
he's asking for relationship advice, and he's not in a relationship.
Okay.
So here we go. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 8 months now. She's great and a wonderful person. It's just something she does that pisses me off. Today, my bottled up emotions made her cry while she was on the phone with me. She ended the call by saying she had to do something, but I knew deep down I hurt her feelings. Once I start ranting about something, I just can't stop. Just understand this is my first serious relationship. Here's what I told her. I hate how you sleep till noon on a Saturday. I'm not a morning person, but 10 a.m. is the latest. If I'm gonna do something, I'd rather do it in the morning, so we have all day doing whatever. Your child was hungry and I decided to try to wake you up, but no, you couldn't be bothered. You kept sleeping on a Saturday, so I gave her cereal. You didn't even get up and make breakfast for me and your child. I'm tired of our boring routine. I want a sex-filled weekend getaway without your child there. You know, last week, we had sex twice. We used to do it 6 or 7 times a week, but you stopped. After I have my fill, then we can start having family vacations.
I'm so grossed
Sorry,
out.
I need to take a break after that one for a second. He's not done. You need a better job. I'm so hard on you because I care. I want to make you a better person. She went really quiet and asked me, do you think I'm not a good person? I tried to re-explain my sentence, but I heard her crying instead of listening to her. I kept going. You make excuses. You always have your child around and you don't work with your family to coordinate anything.
This
you
is 8 months in, right?
Yeah, 8 months. You keep saying, my family is too busy on weekends. I hear excuses. Why don't you ask them or ask the child's dad's side for help? The child doesn't know her dad. She's not close to her family. I know I hurt her really bad. I tried to make it up by telling her our sex-filled weekend getaway, we can go anywhere that is in a 100-mile radius. She's just not talking to me. What should I do? What should I do to make it up to her? I care about her. I do, but I just get so frustrated with her actions. So that's where that one ends.
If it's like that 8 months in, baby. Ooh.
Holy shit.
Like, she wants to sleep till noon on a Saturday, and she has a child that eats cereal. Not just like that can't get. Look, it's in the little details. This is a child that can't get its own cereal. You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's a small child, okay?
Yes.
And he's upset that he has to get up and make cereal for himself and the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's upset that, okay. And this man is 30?
He's 30 years old.
Uh-huh.
But he did offer that they could go anywhere in a 100-mile radius.
And have sex.
Have sex. So he could have his fill.
Yeah, that's crazy phrasing.
That's crazy.
That phrasing is wild.
I just want to have sex until I have my fill with my hole. That's what it sounds like.
I know, that's
sounds like.
exactly what it sounds like.
He's sexually frustrated, so he just started ranting to her.
We only have sex twice a week. We used to have sex 6 or 7 times a week. We'd have sex for every day of the week. Now it's only 2. And not on Saturdays, because you don't
I'm
have
a sex man. I need sex. And by the way, your kid.
I am a man that needs to have sex with the woman I'm dating.
Every day.
I also need breakfast.
Yeah.
And I wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Give me breakfast and whole.
Please. He's crazy.
Hey, 8 months in, that's insane.
Someone said, did you plan to say all of these things together and like that? He said, no, I didn't. It was just in the moment when I was angry at the world. I genuinely did not mean to say any of this to her.
Because his rocks were blue, you know?
Yeah.
He had some blue balls, and he was like, I hate your child.
Someone else caught what we're talking about. After I have my fill, then we can start having family vacations. This is fucking disgusting. She is not a toy for you to use until you're satisfied. She's not a machine who is obligated to dispense however much sex you want. I hope she sees sense and doesn't come back to you. There is no advice here to be had because you shouldn't be in a relationship with a woman at all when you view them as nothing more than fleshlights for your convenience.
Ooh, not a fleshlight?
Someone else said, I don't think Reddit can help because you don't seem to be a very good boyfriend. Then someone said, there's a reason why this poor girl was your first serious relationship when you were 30 years old. Oh, is that his, did he say that?
Yeah, it's his first serious
it's his
relationship.
first
Wow.
serious relationship.
8 months. I'm still not over that.
Wow.
8 months. And he's already acting like, and he's 30. Oh my God. There's so many layers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's prepared to date anyone. Certainly not someone with a child.
No.
No, because he also seems like a baby himself.
Yes. He sounds like he wants his mom. Minus the sex
I was
part.
about to say what?
Because this is not Oedipus Rex. Is that the one? Is that
It is
right?
Oedipus, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, I don't want to peer inside this guy's mind at all. I think
I mean, I feel like we could already peer into it.
yeah.
I've had my fill of this man.
I think so. I think we're done. Am I the asshole for trying to help my girlfriend without hurting her feelings? Okay.
Good start.
Okay.
Nothing wrong here.
I, a 32-year-old man, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 24-year-old woman, for almost 3 years now. When we first got together, she was pretty overweight and struggling with her self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. Over time, she started to work on herself, both physically and mentally. I've been incredibly proud of her progress and how far she's come. Lately, though, I noticed that she's been putting on some weight again, and it's been affecting her mental health. She's mentioned feeling down about her body image, and her struggles with anxiety and depression have resurfaced. I genuinely care for her, and I don't want to see her suffer like this. I thought about talking it out, but I knew it would just evolve into asking if I'm still attracted to her. And truthfully, I have lost some attraction over the last month or so, though she does still look amazing for the most part. I thought it would be... Yeah, I know.
Sorry. It's the for the most part.
Yeah,
for me.
it's...
Okay.
I thought it would be better to take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food.
No.
That I've never been more caught off guard by a sentence. I'm sorry. I thought I would take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food. The idea being it would help her feel fuller faster and encourage her to eat less without her knowing. I was trying to prevent her from falling back into her previous state of depression and anxiety. Unfortunately, my brother, a 30-year-old man, caught me in the act, and he was shocked/angry. He told me... he told me I was being manipulative and abusive, which, okay, a little shady maybe, but abusive is a serious stretch. Now my brother is giving me an ultimatum. He wants me to tell my girlfriend what I've been doing by the end of the week, or he'll tell her himself. He believes she deserves to know the truth. I think what I've been doing is enough to help her without causing her unnecessary pain by revealing what I've done. She's already lost a few pounds. I told him I would stop, and I believe that should be sufficient. I don't see the point of telling her and potentially destroying the progress she's made. My brother thinks I'm completely in the wrong and that my girlfriend deserves the truth, but I genuinely believe I was doing what I thought would be best for her, and I don't see it as a malicious act. Am I really the jerk for trying to help my girlfriend in this way, or is my brother overreacting? Should I tell my girlfriend what I've been doing or keep it to myself to spare her feelings? I need honest opinions here. Please keep in mind that telling her upfront that she's put on weight could seriously set back her mental health.
Okay, well, first off,
Sometimes you get a story that you're just like,
I want to go to bed. Like I don't know how to continue my day.
I think we're missing some serious context here. I need to know, is this sawdust organic?
That's a good point.
yeah, is it keto?
Yeah.
Keto sawdust? Let me read this comment really quick. You're the asshole. You are poisoning her food. OP responded, it wasn't poison. It was sawdust. I could see if I was adding laxatives or something, but plenty of processed foods use sawdust as a filler. I thought it was a safe way to reduce her caloric intake.
So I think it's cellulose. I think because that was the whole thing with Subway bread. Like people were like Subway bread has sawdust because it's cellulose. That they,
got it.
I think that's.
I
what it
will
is.
say sawdust has a lot of fiber. Ha cha 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 cha.
Cha-cha.
That's bad. Like that's
so insane.
He's-
That's like also just like robbing her of like the agency to
Oh, yeah.
it's yet another story here where we see like a man looking at his partner and being like, I love her so much. She's so sweet. I'm doing these crazy things to her because I love her so much. Like, that's not love, that's control. And I also want to point out, like, look, sometimes age differences are fine. Sometimes it works out. But as the age difference gets bigger, there's more of a chance for it to be like, this is a little creepy and a little controlling. So when they got together, he was 29, she was 21. It's an 8-year age gap. And he's also like, yeah, her self-esteem was terrible, and there's an 8-year age difference. I'm like, well, you have all the power and control you could ever want. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And now he's like, yeah, I'm feeding her secretly. It's just, that's an unhealthy situation.
That's super
No, it's
creepy.
super
It's
insane.
horrifying.
It's insane. Look, reading these Reddit stories, I do notice a correlation of when dudes are dating a woman much younger than them, there's often controlling habits
Yeah.
from these men.
Like I know
do
better
notice that
kind of,
they're
yeah.
like, I can help her, I can fix this, I know, like, and it's like, then that's not a relationship to be in. Like if you believe you're superior to your partner, no, that's not good. That's not
awful.
healthy. It's a bad
Yeah.
mindset. That's controlling.
Also, I guess it should be noted, if you want to lose weight, don't do sawdust.
Oh my God.
Don't eat sawdust.
Like,
That's-
don't eat sawdust.
if you're feeling like shit, don't eat sawdust. That's gonna make you
sawdust is
feel
not gonna
worse.
make you feel better.
It's so sad because like so much is tied to people's weight, and everybody has so much baggage tied to that in your own personal journey. And I don't know anybody who's ever like not questioned their own weight, and certain people have like really troubled histories with that. So for him to basically be implementing what would be the result of like an eating disorder onto this person without their knowledge, it's truly horrific on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
what
if I've ever heard of a secondary eating disorder before.
Munchausen's
Like,
by proxy, but
He
like,
literally is like Munchausen's by proxy her in a weird way. Someone commented being like, you are the asshole. For starters, I understand that you're trying to help her in your own way, but please never add things to people's food without their consent. She could have been allergic, or, I mean, it's sawdust. I'm adding splinters to her oatmeal.
I mean, actually.
Someone commented saying, like, have you made similar comments to her that might be making her feel this way? And he said, no, I would never say something like that to her. I know how damaging it could be. I was trying to take a two-pronged approach, if that makes sense. I thought if we had healthy habits and she saw immediate results, it would help her stay motivated. We only have this story.
Sawdust and healthy.
We
and
only have
not-
this story to go off of, but he's talking a lot about like, oh, but it makes her mental health and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it sounds to me like you care more about this than her. And I think I don't know, that's my assumption based on this story from his perspective that she can, and he even admitted like, yeah, and it's affected my attraction for her. I think he cares about her weight and he's trying to use a bunch of excuses.
I think he cares about her weight a lot, and I also think not speaking to her is for him more than her. He's like, if I bring this up to her because he's afraid to admit to her that it matters to him, which, yeah, that sucks, but like he's afraid to bring it up, then she's going to be mad at me or feel sad, and then things are going to get worse for me. Like, none of this is from a place of love. It's from a place of like ownership.
Yeah.
And it's really gross.
It's also a crime.
It's a crime.
It is.
100%.
I think this is a full-on crime.
Putting sawdust in food?
Yeah. I would imagine this, at the very least, she needs to get out of this. I hope his brother tells her, and I hope she runs for the hills. You're right about the cellulose, but is OP using cellulose or literal sawdust?
Yeah.
We don't know. What happens, though, if you eat sawdust? Sawdust is a human carcinogen. Eating sawdust can lead to intestinal blockages as well as other gastrointestinal issues. He says she's been losing weight. I wonder if it's actually just causing
Yeah, she's all corked up.
serious issues.
Yeah, because I think with the whole thing of like cellulose and like the Subway breads, people go like cellulose. Well, cellulose is found in sawdust. It's not like, I don't think Subway is dumping actual sawdust in. It's just like, it's derived from that.
Well,
I
these
guess,
are the dangers that people have when everyone thinks they're a doctor, right? It's like
That's a good point.
Look, man, you don't understand this shit. You're not he's clearly not a nutritionist. He's not a doctor. He's not even a fitness trainer or anything. And he's trying to make all these executive decisions over her health. And his only measurement is weight, which is not an accurate measurement of health.
That's the thing,
and
too.
so
Yeah.
he's so clearly, obviously focused on, I want my girlfriend to be hotter.
He's just poisoning her.
He's truly a monster.
Crazy.
Well, beyond asshole, actual terrifying man. If that woman watches these stories, run. Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my boyfriend's friends unless they apologize to me? Okay. A couple of weeks ago, this is a 24-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 27, friends found a Tinder account with my pictures on it and matched with it. I have not met my boyfriend's friends yet, but they know what I look like because my boyfriend showed them pictures. They showed my boyfriend the account, and my boyfriend called me immediately to tell me about it. I haven't used Tinder in over a year, and Tinder is supposed to delete inactive accounts after 7 days, so I knew it wasn't mine. His friend also messaged with the account that weekend, but I was with my boyfriend watching a movie at that exact time, so my boyfriend didn't really believe the account was mine either. But his friends weren't convinced that I wasn't cheating. I could hear them yelling things through the phone like, "Make that bitch prove herself. Your girlfriend is a whore," along with other really degrading names.
I hate that.
My boyfriend told them to shut up as I was on the verge of tears. I went on FaceTime with all of them while the friend messaged the account. They made me show my hands and my phone on video call, the video call the whole time. The catfisher messaged back and I was proven innocent. None of them apologized to me. They only apologized to my boyfriend, which felt even more disrespectful. Apparently those friends are hosting a party this weekend and my boyfriend wants me to meet the group for the first time. But I don't want anything to do with them until they apologize to me for calling me names. My boyfriend understands, but also says that it would mean a lot if I could at least give his friends another chance, since they were actually just doing their best to support him. He has been cheated on in the past. Would I be the asshole if I refused?
You still don't call a woman a whore and like a bitch.
I think like
This makes me mad.
It'd be one thing if they were just like, "Hey man, like
I'm mad.
we're concerned for you. I don't know if I trust her, whatever." This shows that he's friends with a bunch of misogynistic people.
Yeah. Like,
and so
hey.
he by proxy probably is.
Yeah.
You're a whore. Put your hands up. What?
Put your hands up.
Put your hands up. That's what they said.
No,
They
they
made her hold her hands up as they DM'd the account.
yes,
What
they
the?
made
It
her
was a full body slate.
That
Actor joke.
willing to shave? You're out of control. You have way too many jokes sitting in the driveway, eh?
It's just
Turn that engine off,
So
baby.
that sucks.
That makes me really mad because the fact that just shows that he's not going to support her in a time of need.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I also get. I have personal things with like I feel like in my dating history, when your partner like gets like protective of their friends, when their friends are kind of being like I've never had something like that disrespectful, but when they're just like, it would mean a lot if you just let that slide, or it would mean a lot if you were still friends, if you were friends with my friends. And like, I just think I get it, and friends mean a lot to people, but like when they do something as blatantly disrespectful to a woman like that, bro, the lines are pretty clear.
And manipulative, too.
Yeah, they've been dating for like a little over a year, it sounds like, because she hasn't used Tinder in over a year.
Cut that shit down.
So we have some comments here. The verdict was not she wouldn't be an asshole for if she refused to go see his friends.
Correct.
Someone said, not the asshole, stand your ground. You humored them and went so far as to prove you were innocent. The least they can do is apologize. Red flag that your boyfriend doesn't think they owe you an apology. Someone else said, what the f***? Time to dump the boyfriend and his buddies, not the asshole. But you're the asshole to yourself if you stay and continue to put up with these misogynistic, degrading tests of loyalty. Yeah, I fully agree.
I'd say like maybe just don't go to the hang. Just give it a bit.
Yeah, or just be like, I don't feel comfortable going to the hang after they called me a whore.
And they
feel
didn't
like it's pretty
apologize.
obvious.
Like,
If a bunch of
they
dudes were like, you fucking whore, I'd be like, cool, not coming over for a barbecue.
yeah.
What are we talking about
Also,
here?
look, my advice from earlier, she's 24. I'm just like, dude,
Walk
that's
away.
that big of a red flag?
Walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away, man.
Walk away, man. I'm just a believer in that. I am.
Yeah.
Walk away.
But if people disagree, that's okay. So there's an update.
Ooh,
Update on this one. We've got a lot of updates today, I think.
these are so good.
So much crazy shit has happened, and I've just been trying to process it all. I don't even think y'all are going to believe what went down. After reading through the comments on my last post, I told my boyfriend again that I was not going to the party because I felt disrespected by his friends and was disappointed that he did nothing to stand up for me. My boyfriend apologized to me and made it up by spending the weekend with me at my place instead of going to the party. He told me that after he quit his job, he would not contact any of his friends who refused to apologize to me. None of them did. His apology seemed genuine, and him not going to the party convinced me that everything was good, so I didn't break up with him. Flash forward to a few days ago. My boyfriend and I were laying together in bed. He was on his phone, messaging some of his friends while I was watching TikToks. At one point, I glanced at his phone while he was scrolling through his texts and saw that he had sent a bunch of screenshots of my pictures from Instagram to someone. Even from far away, I could tell that they were pictures of me. I didn't think much of it and even thought, aw, he's showing his friends what I look like. I was so dumb. So before we went to sleep, I jokingly asked him, hey, why were you sending my Instagram pictures to your friends? He went white, and there was so much panic on his face. I immediately knew something was up and made him explain. Apparently, he sent my Instagram pictures to his friends so that they could make a fake Tinder account to see if I was really cheating on him, because he had been cheated on in the past. He felt so insecure in our relationship that he wanted to make sure I didn't have any dating apps or was doing anything shady behind his back. He thought the confrontation would scare me into a real confession. But he didn't want to seem like the bad guy with major trust issues, which is what he is, so he had his friends confront me for him while he pretended to be on my side the whole time. They saw my reaction to it all. I was literally on the verge of tears the entire call and did not confess to anything they accused me of, and they decided to play it off as a catfish. So congrats to those of you in the comments who guessed right. The friends made the fake account. I didn't believe it at first because I had no evidence and I hate making false assumptions about people. Ironic, isn't it? I also thought that they had no way to get pictures of me since my Instagram is private. But how the fuck was I supposed to know my own boyfriend was providing them to frame me? Needless to say, I dumped his ass. He cried the whole time, which was admittedly satisfying to watch, but also painful. Thanks for all the support. Wish me luck in therapy. Whoa.
Wait,
So he was still.
I'm confused.
He was still making
Yeah,
updates.
he was
That's
sending
what's
stuff.
even weirder.
So the Tinder account at the beginning.
Yeah.
That she was like, they saw that he came and he's like, hey, there's this Tinder, or the friends were like, hey, we found a Tinder account.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend has. They made it.
Why?
The friends made it.
Why?
To test.
To test.
They wanted to see if the boyfriend was the boyfriend masterminded it. He had been cheated on in the past, so he wanted his friends to create a fake Tinder account with photos of her to then confront her with it so that she would go, okay, yeah, I'm cheating on you.
Yeah.
But she wasn't, so they had this big elaborate plan to make her come clean. That obviously wasn't real.
What a psycho!
Yeah, she's going to therapy now, which is great, and he could have done that in the first place.
He's going to hell.
It's crazy to me. Like, when you get to that point, it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship. Maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe I should go talk to a therapist for a while and work through this.
Yeah.
And then,
Does his friends have girlfriends? That's what I want to know.
dude, if someone came to me and was like, hey, we're going to do this whole thing, I'd be like, no, man, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
Or if they're
That's
like,
a lot.
hey, we figured out a way to find everyone cheating because we believe in a world where everyone's freaking cheating. And
That's
all
right.
women are whores. And this is what we do. We create fake accounts so then we catch them in the act because basically everybody's cheating. I'd be like, oh no, you're all hurt.
Oh, wounded.
Thanks to fake Tinder, my wife divorced
We
me.
call it.
Yeah. What?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's
They're
nuts.
also hurt, it feels like.
Thank
because
God she ended that. Like, can you imagine if she got married and the shit he would come up with?
I'm so glad a lot of these people are like discovering and like walking away from these relationships. And like I'm also a believer in like when you have that level of suspicion, it's like, oh, I need to work on this or like this relationship won't work. Like when you're at that
Yes.
level of suspicion, it's not working. Like something's got to give.
And his
there.
friends aren't healthy.
If he continues with this framework, he's never going to end up in a successful relationship.
Not
he's
with
never
those
he's
friends.
never going to trust anyone again.
But this is also like what they say about like manifesting when they were like, when you're so scared of bad things happening that you're always saying the bad thing happening. He's making the bad thing happening.
His
is.
paranoia is ruining his relationships. He needs to go to therapy. He needs to like be real with himself and be like, oh, I have trust issues. I should work through that. Should I tell my coworker her boyfriend is on Grindr?
Wow.
We all work together and are all friends. I didn't immediately know, but I suspected he was up to something and his girlfriend has too. Last night I got undeniable proof in the form of pics. I stopped chatting because I didn't feel comfortable continuing. He doesn't know it was me because my pics don't have my face and my tattoos are obscured to ensure stuff like this doesn't get back to me. Workplace, friends with benefits ended bad before. Don't want drama, but I feel bad for my friend. Should I try to tell her discreetly? Should I just stay out of it? Edit for clarification. The profile doesn't have his picture. It is blank with basic information as is mine. This is normal on Grindr. The pictures I received are explicit, so I don't believe they are catfish pics, and I cannot share them legally or ethically. They are both monogamous and have a closed relationship publicly. While it could be a private situation between them, I don't believe it is for a multitude of reasons. I believe the best course of action would be to pass along the message anonymously as not to involve myself. They've had a lot of problems before, mostly around the threat of cheating rather than anything significant or proven, like talking to other female coworkers too often or hugging male friends too long. So I believe a simple note will be enough.
I mean, are they close friends?
He says at the top, we all work together and are all friends. And he does say, I don't want drama, but I feel bad for my friend. So I don't know if it's super close friends, but friends.
I feel like he needs to tell her, but it can't be anonymous. Like,
I feel like tell her straight up, but probably a little bit discreet. You don't want to out
be
him,
discreet, yeah.
but be discreet about it. But tell her straight up. She needs to know.
Oh, she needs to know.
Or if not that, then he needs to, not me being like, he needs to threaten the boyfriend, well, not threaten, but like he needs to give potentially the boyfriend an opportunity to talk to his partner.
Interesting.
To come forward before, like, you come forward or I will situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, but again, that sounds like a threat, but it's like, hey, this isn't okay. Like, I want to give you the opportunity to talk to her because I will.
So we have some more info in the comments here. Are you certain that she isn't aware of this already and into it? He said, no, and I have considered that. It's kinda an open secret that he's a little bi-curious, but they never talk about anything like that. Someone else said, you should tell her. However, be prepared that she may lash out, shooting the messenger and all that. Hopefully she'll be grateful though. He said, yep, this is exactly why I'm so hesitant on it. Someone else said, maybe he's just looking for drugs. He said, really don't think so. We have the same weed plug, and you don't usually talk about hooking up or send explicit photos of yourself when looking for a plug.
Can you find a plug on Grindr?
Oh, you can find everything on Grindr. It's like the black market on iTunes.
There's a comment here. So you saw him on the app, but you weren't messaging him? He responded, I was messaging a mostly empty account. It's very common to not put pictures on your profile and talk before sharing info like that. I didn't know it was him until we agreed to share pics. Mine didn't include my face or tattoos. His did. So Kiana did some research and she looked into this guy's profile. Turns out he works at a morgue.
They all work at a morgue
They
together?
work at a morgue.
Who's flirting at the mortuary?
See, you brought up Gilmore Girls, and now we get to bring up 6 Feet Under. And so we're hitting all the shows.
Did he do anything?
No updates.
No updates?
So hopefully, I hope,
Somebody's dead.
I get his hesitation. Yeah. There's a body that's been found. And that's unimportant. And that's a normal work day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it in.
All right. Next story here. I left trip early because my boyfriend, who's 28, and his friends embarrassed me to tears. Oh. Okay, strap in because this is the most bizarre and embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. Throwaway account, first time poster, etc. So I went on a ski trip with my boyfriend and his friends. It's their annual trip and the first time I went. We've been together for 2 years. The group that goes is him and 5 of his friends, 4 guys and 1 girl, all late 20s. I've met 2 of the guys before, but the other 2 and the girl I've only met briefly over FaceTime. They knew I was coming on the trip, so they VRBO this house about 10 minutes from the ski resort.
Oh my God.
We are a few days in for this weekly trip and everything is fine. The only problem has been the bathroom doors don't seem to lock. Important for later. There had been some near embarrassing moments, but nothing major. Until day 4 of 7. I'm not a huge drinker, especially around people I don't know well. I wanted to just nurse a drink while we all talked and they drank. We haven't been eating the best and have pizza before this. My stomach was bothering me, so I excused myself to the bathroom on the main floor. I should have gone in the one upstairs, but you know what they say about hindsight. So I'm on the toilet, obviously taking a poop, when the doorknob starts to move. I am in here, but his female friend comes in anyway. I don't know if it is because it was me or she was too drunk to hear or care. She honestly smells what's going on and makes a big ruckus to the rest of the group that I'm pooping. I told her to please get out as calmly as I could because I was starting to get very upset. She was making a big deal over a normal bodily process. So she goes to leave the bathroom but basically throws open the bathroom door to do so. 3 of the 4 guys are there in the hallway and she's exposed me to them. Now I'm very upset and mortified. I yelled at her to get out and to shut the door behind her. They all are standing in the doorway and not listening to me. My boyfriend notices what is going on and comes into the bathroom. I think he's going to yell at his friends, but instead, the drunk asshole comments on how bad it smells in the bathroom. He leaves but doesn't take his friends with him. They continue to point and laugh while I'm in a vulnerable state. I think they were making potty jokes, all while I'm sat on the toilet, pants at my ankles, keeping my knees locked shut. I start screaming at this point to get the out of the bathroom and shut the door over and over. I am actually crying at this point because I'm so mortified and I've never been in such a bizarre situation. My crying and screaming finally got the drunkard's attention. She shuts the door behind her. Now I'm breaking down in the bathroom. I'm still crying and trying to get sorted so I can be done and wash my hands and get the hell out of this room. While washing my hands, all I can think is that my boyfriend didn't help at all. I know they're drunk, but I don't think that's much of an excuse. They've just been drinking beer and I think he'd had 4 so far. I'm absolutely mortified and decided to just go into the bedroom. However, when I come out of the bathroom, still crying a bit by the way, all 6 of them start howling with laughter and pointing at me. It's like one of those crazy nightmares where everything seems more dramatic than real life should be. I just look at my boyfriend, meet his eyes and everything to show how upset I am, and they don't stop. I go upstairs to our room and pack. I can't go 3 more days with these people, and I don't want to sleep in the same bed as my drunk boyfriend. Drunk or not, they're being incredibly disrespectful and childish. I don't think I've ever been so embarrassed. I finish packing, change my flight to the next morning, and order an Uber to go to the airport hotel. I gather all of my things and walk downstairs to get my coat and leave. They all start laughing when I come back in the room, but boyfriend finally notices I have bags with me. I silently put my coat on. Boyfriend yells, "Where the f*** are you going?" "Airport," is all I say. Now he is yelling and they're all yelling, saying it was just in good fun and I should lighten up, have another beer, etc. No one apologizes, not even boyfriend. He just seems so mad that I'm leaving. I tell him I'll see him in a few days and walk out to my Uber. Once I'm finally in my hotel room later, I curl up in bed and cry. I definitely did not see this being the way my trip ended. Once I flew home the next morning and got back to my apartment, I had so many texts, missed calls, and voicemails from my boyfriend. They ranged from apologetic to angry to accusing, as if I did something wrong by going to the freaking bathroom. I haven't responded yet, and he comes home in 2 days. I haven't even read all of the texts because it got more upset. How the am I supposed to face these people again? It just seems like the most bizarre and surreal experience. I think I'm more upset that my boyfriend did nothing, even when I was screaming and crying. He didn't stop me from leaving. He didn't follow me out. He just yelled at me and asked me where the I was going. How could he not make sure I'm okay? Even now, I was upset enough to leave, and his texts that I did read are not supportive. No apology. Basically, I put a damper on the trip. I'm dramatic. It wasn't that bad, but I made a terrible impression with his friends. What about their impression of me? Because I'm having some pretty strong thoughts. Right now, I still have a boyfriend. That might be changing in a few days. I love him, but I do not like his reaction to all this. Why the am I getting blamed? I did not receive this type of deal breaker. What the
I mean, like, it's so funny because like I was thinking, and then she said it, like, this feels like one of those like nightmares.
It
Like
yes.
a legit like,
I
oh,
feel
she's
like-
pooping, everyone look, and everyone's like,
yeah.
ha ha ha.
This truly sounds like the logic of like a sketch that we would write.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, this is so insane, this would never happen
Yeah.
in real life.
It's so bizarre. Like, and also, you know, when she was like, well, I love my boyfriend, I'm like, you've never met your boyfriend because that was your boyfriend. When you've had a few drinks and you're laughing along with your friends, like, that's your boyfriend right there. And I just, how could you ever get that trust back?
I do almost see a version where this could have been a funny moment for everybody, but she made it very clear that it wasn't.
Right.
And they didn't apologize. And I think it's
Yes.
one of those like, it's almost like one of those like mob mentality moments, like when like everybody gets on board with something, it's like hard to like shift that sort of like thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I mean, she has every right to be angry, and like I think the boyfriend at this point is probably embarrassed. Like, it's clear that he's like thinking more about himself of like, how does
Totally.
this look for me, because now my girlfriend seems ridiculous and crazy. But it's like, yeah, she had every right to feel embarrassed. She was exposed.
That's the thing,
to a
like
group
exposed
of
to a bunch of
people.
people, like involuntarily. Like,
Yeah.
that's a huge violation.
Yeah, the girl like
Yeah.
enabled it.
So like, yeah, which is absolutely so rough. And on top of that, like to have the boyfriend use the specific phrasing of like, "Where the are you going?" That is such a that is violent language to use against someone like
Yeah.
that. And I don't care if someone is making direct eye contact with you and making lava plops in the middle of the floor. Like if they're like, "I need help," you're just like, "Got it." Like there needs to be a point of like, there's no more joking. Like when you're being tickled and you're about to throw up, you need to be like, "Stop!" And
Yeah.
eventually someone gets it. Like
Right.
Wow.
And he's known her for 2 years. He's been in a relationship with her for 2 years. He should know her comfort levels on things. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're not on the set of Jackass. Like, this is real life, and
yeah.
he should know that with people that she's just met for the first time, especially,
Yeah.
like this is not okay at all. She's making it
don't-
very apparent.
Yeah, I see. I don't see this as something that like it's like, oh, you need to dump him. But I think this is a very big learning opportunity for this guy. And
I
the
think you need to
friends.
dump him.
We got a bunch of comments here. Someone said, F that guy. The fact that he wasn't furious with his asshole buddies invading your privacy shows his character. You weren't his girlfriend that night. You were their entertainment. Dump his ass and never look back. He obviously does not respect you. Someone else said, you know this relationship is over. He didn't have your back. Someone else said, okay, so I went through a similar situation, minus the poop, with my ex at his brother's birthday. It was a nightmare. Everyone else was making fun of me and getting f***ed up, and I was in the middle of nowhere, stuck with these people, and my boyfriend would only come to check on me, to tear down more and yell at me, which meant I would hide more and cry, which would piss him off more. Repeat for 3 days as I had no way home. It won't get better. I don't know why I thought it might or why I didn't care more, but that relationship almost ruined me. Your partner should have your back. Otherwise, what's the point? Yeah. Do what I wasn't brave enough to do and forget this guy. I do agree. This is like, it was just such a prolonged amount of him not caring about her, like so long, and like even the days of all the texts and stuff not apologizing. It's like, you've had time to think about this, you know. But
I don't think he has. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's still with those people that are enabling that thinking.
But that would scare me. That would scare me to be with someone who I'd be like, oh, if you're influenced by the right people, you could fuck me up. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, but what were you
I was just gonna say also, like, you know, if he has been with her for 2 years and he hasn't, like, say for instance, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and he's like, I really didn't know she was mad. Like, that is a colossal problem, because after 2 years, you should know your partner's comfort level. You should know, you know, when they're joking around and when they're being like, I need your help.
Yeah.
And if you're still after 2 years being like, huh, like, that's not even a matter of like not having her back. Like, that is antagonistic. That is a problem. It's scary.
And at like 28. I don't
20,
know, man.
they're 28?
He's 28.
That's a man child. Get him out of there.
It is scary.
Push him into the pit.
So there's an update.
All right.
So
let's
see.
go.
Am I gonna like it?
He got back. Did they fix it?
She poops too to make it up to her.
She starts possible trigger warning: drug use. Okay, so boyfriend came home a day after I did. He called me before his flight and asked to come over to my apartment when he got back. I agreed. I needed a flipping explanation for their bizarre behavior before I could decide what to do in our relationship. He's been wonderful and respectful for 2 years, and then that? At that point, I decided I didn't want to see his friends again. They're unimportant to me. So he gets here, I let him in, and right away I see he is noticeably nervous and twitchy. He sits on my couch. I sit separately on my recliner. He blurts out, "Are we over? Depends on what you have to say, unless you want it to be over." He says no before I finish. Okay then, so I tell him to explain what the f happened. So he and his genius friends took LSD and shrooms. Female friend took shrooms only. The guys were a mix of both with alcohol. My boyfriend said he took LSD only. I flipped a bit. Why the f didn't he tell me? What if one of them had a really bad reaction or trip? Shouldn't the one person who didn't take drugs know they did to be able to keep them safe? I've done it, and I wouldn't have judged them. He knew I'd tried it in college and had a bad time, like nightmare fuel bad. No real answer on that. It is his decision to take something like that, but I am more upset that they weren't really safe about it. That wasn't okay to admit that. He agreed that was a dumb decision. He said it's been about 6 years since they last tried it. Asked him to explain his asshole behavior the next morning then. He says he and guy friends didn't remember the reality of what happened, but shocker, female friend B did. The bitch that she is laughed when explaining it later that afternoon. The guys were horrified. Boyfriend is rethinking friendship with her. I said I never want to see her again. Not an ultimatum, just a fact. So once he knew he was embarrassed and didn't want to apologize over phone or text, so he came home early. He took the time to get his itinerary and thoughts sorted, he says. He asked for my side of it, and I just let him read my first post. It was too hard to say. He gave me a huge hug after, apologizing between forehead and cheek kisses. We agreed to work through it. I could practically smell his relief. He thought I was done with him. I did too before we talked and got an explanation. We set boundaries, no secrets, even if we think the other is going to be upset. Better to talk through things than have issues later. My main sticking point was that I didn't want that be in our lives. The fact that she acted that way when she was mostly sober and could recant the entire thing while laughing is unacceptable. I don't know what kind of personality trait or disorder makes that possible, but I don't give a f***. She's disgusting.
I diagnose her as a pick-me.
Ding, 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 ding. No.
He understood and messaged the guys in front of me. He told them I was giving him a second chance, and he explained what happened. They asked if they could FaceTime us later to apologize. We said yes, but without B. They understood and agreed. Their apologies later that night were all very sweet and genuine. Boyfriend spoke with B a few days later and then blocked her, all while beside me. These last couple of months, he has really stepped up and shown me how important I am to him and how much he loves me. We've both upheld our side of the boundary of no secrets. It's actually been awesome to just talk through any issues, feelings, etc. We were great before this bizarre incident, but things are strangely better now. I wouldn't have thought that when I wrote my first post, we were talking about moving in with one another next year. B did try to reach out several times, but more so after my post was on TikTok. She was screaming that I needed to take it down. It's not like anybody has any idea who she is in real life, for f***'s sake, the drama. Boyfriend's friend group has all shut her out since the trip. Apparently, she's always had an excuse about why a new girlfriend of theirs didn't like her or misheard her. She's created more issues than they realized during their 14-year friendship. My boyfriend knows I have no issues with him having friends of any gender, but agrees we don't need her stereotypical female best friend behavior in our lives. I don't know if she has feelings for any of them or just likes their attention, but whatever it is, no longer my problem. I don't know if this is the update you hoped for or if you are all rooting for boyfriend to get dumped hard, but please know I'm genuinely happy with my outcome. Thanks for taking our own crazy trip with my story and update. Had to make light of it. You all have been wonderfully sweet and supportive. It was incredibly appreciated. Wow.
Yeah, I'm okay. So I don't feel so bad about my stance. They worked it out. I felt like they could.
I mean, sure. I guess I didn't predict that this was happening.
I didn't.
I went with her assumption of 4 beers, I don't. To be fair, I don't know a ton about like what LSD and shrooms, how much that would affect your mental state where this situation would be handled. I can't speak to that.
Yeah, there's some serious dumbassery there. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I definitely do not like that they all took it and didn't.
So that's what I was going to say.
That's
like
crazy to me.
This doesn't absolve anything for me because there's a couple things that are majorly wrong with this. One, she did not consent to being in a room with a bunch of people who are on a little bit more hallucinogenic and heavy drugs. I'm not one to judge drug use. Do what you got to do safely, but this is. That's a lot to deal with. To be the only sober person in that scenario, that's a lot.
It's a big
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah. And if someone actually does get hurt and you've got to call medical authorities, it's like, what's going on? It's just like, I guess he fell down. They would need to know that. And thing number 2 is the fact that all of those friends together decided to do that and he just didn't tell the girlfriend. It says a lot about the relationship to me. It's like she's a problem or a wet blanket or well, it's going to be a fun thing for we to do, but don't tell Bethica or it's just
super
there's
weird.
So much wrong with it there. Yeah. And the fact that he's like, he apologized and gave me a forehead kiss. I'm like, yuck, gross. I want to recoil at that. This is not even. I'm glad she's happy. I really am. And I'm trusting this adult to know what is best for herself. But it still doesn't sound safe. And just because that other girl was a huge problematic influence on these people doesn't mean they didn't still engage in this behavior time and time again. They're like, yeah, it's the typical female jealous best friend. It's like, okay, sure, she's rough. But 4 people got puppeted by that, I guess at best.
So we got some comments here. Oh man. Someone said, good luck wasting your years with him. Damn.
I mean, kind of.
Someone else said, so your partner got high with his buddies without cluing you in, mortifyingly embarrassed you, and pinned it all on a girl. Sounds like a charming group of guys. Yeah. Someone else said, OP, I've been on shrooms and LSD, and let me tell you, it doesn't wipe your memory. They all knew what happened. You especially remember when you are laughing hysterically and making a big deal about something. Nah, he and his friends ain't it. The last comment we have here is, this is literally an insane update. There is nothing in this world that would make me forgive anyone who interacted with me like that. Do you have difficult family members who you were often forced to forgive in order to live peacefully? If so, analyze if this is just that behavior being repeated. Being alone would be better than being with a man who so deeply disrespected you. Yeah, I also want to point out, in the original post, even after all of this, before this update, she still was like, I don't know, I love him, but I do not like his reaction to all this. So she still that wasn't the end of the line before she found out about all this drug use and everything. I do think I don't know. I tend to kind of side with these comments. And yes, she is an adult. She's allowed to make her own decisions.
Yeah.
She has every right to go about this as she wants. But I mean, I agree with you that there's a lot to this. The original post was in March. The update is in July. So she's been saying for months things have felt way better. Maybe this is a very shitty thing to say. I am skeptical of what her idea of like, things are great.
Sure.
I'm just like,
tough,
man,
yeah.
like, I don't know. But we only have this story to go off of.
Yeah.
But it seems like all the comments are skeptical on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think our relationship advice tends to lean towards everyone saying dump his ass.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like a lot of times these stories involve some form of abuse, in which case I'm all for being like, that's abuse, that's an abuser, cut him out.
Yeah.
I'm like, this was a really shitty situation. This was extremely disrespectful. I think you can learn from something like that. And I think you can grow from something like that. To me, and this is obviously not my life, but I think it's something you can grow from and grow past.
I have a thought on that because I think it is very valid to like talk about wanting to learn from mistakes and grow. Like I think not just on, this format, but like societally in general, when we hear something rough, we're just like, that's it, done. So I understand that there probably should be a path for redemption in a lot of cases, unless someone's safety is concerned.
Yeah.
I think though what that requires is accountability. And you would have to look at this situation and be like, what was actually wrong with this at its core? And I think that was a lot of what we were saying about like the disrespect that came from like not telling someone, yada, yada, yada. And it seems like the resolution of this was like, he's gonna be nicer and he's not hanging out with that mean girl anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He won't do drugs again, as opposed to like, no, you made the active choice to really mess with me and like put me in a very dangerous situation. Like that would have to be addressed and you'd have to grow from that. And if that ends up happening, great.
Because she doesn't list any like examples, but she just keeps saying like, we've had full honesty for months. They say this girl had been their friends for 14 years, so I'm assuming these are high school friends. So the excuse that I could see some people saying is like, they're falling into old habits, old high school habits. I still
Boys club.
Yeah,
type.
and one girl. I think all I can say is if I was in this situation, it would be less about like, oh, you're bad and I need to dump you because you suck, and more that I'd just be like, I don't know if I can recover from this. Like, I don't know if I can mentally.
Yeah.
Now that's me saying my own personal reaction to these things. And also like the under the influence excuse is, I just don't buy it. And like, look, these people in the comments, like I said, I don't have personal experience, but a lot of people are saying like, hey, look, I've done shrooms and LSD and you don't forget things. Like he's lying to you. If he's saying you guys have full honesty and he's lying about that still, then he's lying about you guys being on this full honesty kick right now. Right. And that's, at the very least, I would say to her, I'd be like, at least, you guys are saying you have full honesty, but if something happens now, if something happens again, you need to walk.
He's on notice.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Oh yeah, I mean he's got to do a lot of work to get to regain trust.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's crazy.
That's a wild
bonkers.
He sounds like a dumbass. Like
he does sound stupid.
Yeah,
he does sound very stupid.
He just sounds like a dumbass.
There are definitely
not that I'm excusing his behavior, but he's a dumbass.
There are a lot of stories we read where it's like, okay, is their assholery exceeding their stupidity? Like which one is which one is leading the charge?
This is stupid.
There's like that philosophical theorem about like you should never assume malice when I think it's like ignorance or stupidity can like serve just as well. But then there's the addendum to that of like at a certain point, stupidity is indistinguishable from malice.
Yeah.
It's like, you might just be stupid, but you're still messing things up.
At a certain point, it also doesn't matter. Like, you're just like, this is someone that you're supposed to be relying on.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
That's somehow worse. It's like, oh, you're too stupid for me to have you be by my side.
All right, next story. Am I the asshole for calling the police on my fiance? Last night, this is a 35-year-old man, my fiance, who's 38, 38-year-old woman, Left in the evening to give a friend's son a ride back to his home. She implied she'd be home before 9. She left around 7:45. 10:15 rolls around and she still wasn't home. I texted and she apologized to me, saying that her friend's son was actually in the next town over, maybe 30 minutes away, and she was coming home now. 11:45 rolled around and she still hadn't come home, so I called her to no answer. Texted her to no response. I was getting very upset. 12:30 rolled around and still no response and no answer to my phone calls. I was extremely angry. 1:30 rolled around and my anger had completely transformed into worry. Not answering my calls and texts not read. Around 1:45, I called the police. I have always heard that the first 24 hours of someone being missing is the most important, so I didn't want to delay. I asked them to let me know if there had been any traffic accidents involving her car, and the operator told me that they would put out the word and send some cops to check along the routes she would travel. I called all the hospitals in the area to see if she had been checked in, and I waited outside watching the road for her car for 3 hours. Partially because I didn't want the kids to hear me on the phone with hospitals, and secondly because I was sick with worry. At 7 a.m., she came home. She apologized for being out and said she had no excuse. She was driving home and felt tired, like she was falling asleep at the wheel, so she pulled over to the side of the road to sleep. When she did that, she found that her brand new phone had stopped working. She says she napped anyway because it was the responsible thing to do, and then came home at 7 a.m. to bring the kids to school and get to work on time. I immediately called the police and told them that she had come home safely and gave them the case number and told them to stop searching, which they did. My fiance brought the kids to school and left for work. I set out to start cleaning. Cleaning de-stresses me sometimes. And I got a call from a policeman asking where she worked. I told him and asked why, and I was informed that it was their policy to check on the person's wellness after a missing person is found. I asked them to not go by her work, but to give her a call instead. He said he couldn't promise. My fiance is relatively new to her job. A police officer showed up and asked to speak with her. She is now enraged at me for calling the police and sending a cop to her work and making her look bad. She is saying I overreacted and that she wasn't missing and that I was punishing her for doing the responsible thing and not driving while drowsy. She is saying that she is never going to leave the house again except for work because she is afraid I'm going to call the cops on her again. So did I overreact? Should I have waited 2 days like she suggests?
No, the first 48. Everyone knows that show. First
Okay.
48 is very important to catch a suspect and find the missing person.
We don't talk about this a lot. I don't think we said it on camera.
We're obsessed with the same TV show.
We're obsessed with Dateline. We're obsessed with true crime.
Lester Holt is
yeah,
a god.
believe it or not, we're true crime junkies.
I finished Dateline NBC.
Every true crime episode, she literally keeps up to Dateline, and there's thousands of episodes.
I finished it. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. Now I'm on a weekly.
So those are obvious things.
I don't think he overreacted.
I think he actually did everything right.
So I haven't scrolled down yet to see if there's an update.
Yeah, because.
But I feel pretty certain she cheated on him. Right?
Yeah.
Like you know what actually seems to be the most telling for me is the getting angry and making him feel bad and the putting it on him. That's such a telltale
Exactly.
sign.
And that's what shows.
It is so
Guilty.
consistent.
Guilt.
Because if I had actually fallen asleep, that probably would have been scary. And if my phone had died, that probably would have been scary. So then if the cops came the next day, I bet I would have been like, you know what, this all makes kind of sense.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we have comments here. No, you're not the asshole, but you know she's lying, right? Someone said, not the asshole. I don't believe her story one bit. Driving a kid home and disappearing for the entire night is a massive red flag. How does she not even know where he lives when she started the drive? How old is this kid? Pulling over and sleeping on the side of a road for a 30-minute drive is nuts. She is now turning this around to say she is the victim of your actions. Someone else said, not the asshole. She said she was on her way home at 10:15 p.m. and then disappeared until 7 a.m. Of course you're going to call the police and have them go looking for her. If she'd been in an accident or worse, she would have been dead if you'd waited 2 days to call. That being said, she's definitely lying about what happened. It honestly sounds more like she fell asleep at her affair partner's place and concocted that bogus excuse to cover her ass.
Yeah.
Someone said, I think your fiance is getting railed 2 towns over, my guy.
Oh my God, my guy.
My guy.
This guy's like,
Listen, my guy. I think your fiance is getting railed 2
Yeah.
towns
And I think you
over.
sent the cops the next morning to check if she got railed correctly.
Yeah. Good on you, my guy, my guy, my guy.
Was she there for only 20 minutes?
Pop belly.
Okay, we have an update. Of course.
Wow. I feel like I'm watching movie.
So, all right.
Because women can cheat too.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you to those of you who offered kind words and solid advice. This update is likely to disappoint some of you, as it does me. My fiance and I have been fighting solidly since before I posted my last thread. It's been exhausting. I called her out on her obvious lie, and she fumed at how awful I was for calling her a liar. From then on, it was as if she was falling down a smooth well, desperately clawing and grabbing at anything she could to blame me for. As she went deeper and deeper, I'm not a perfect man, but in this particular situation, I was an angel, so she had nothing to grab onto. I did a lot of soul searching, and I made a call that most of you will hate. I decided to bury the hatchet. I love her very, very dearly. I had no proof of a lie, and I wasn't too concerned about what she was really up to anyway. Our relationship is open, so even if she fucked around, I didn't care much. Okay, that's...
Okay.
She still fought with me, though. The fight continued to the point where she broke up with me, but not really, which was a common tactic she had used before. I called her on it, and she fought with me still. I asked for space for a night so I could sleep off the exhaustion, and she got upset and told me I was neglectful and selfish for not going to her and making up in person. I am stupid. I am aware of it. Even through all of this, I was apparently able to believe that what she said in emotion wasn't really her talking. Today I was having lunch. Money has been tight lately for some reason. Weird. So I flipped through my wallet to find my credit card, which was missing. Well, you see where this goes. She had stolen it. She cited our desire to join lives together and merge finances, and that when I lent her my wallet once, she took it so she wouldn't have to bother me by asking again. This credit card is mine, under my name, and for emergencies only. She was using it for the last month and a half. While she has been decent enough to pay back some of it, there was still a $1,500 balance on it that hasn't been paid. She says that it's hers just as much as mine and resents me calling her a thief. A lot of the uses were spent at ATMs for cash withdrawals and some interesting ones at the casino. Those of you who guessed gambling were probably right on the money. At that point, I admit I lost it. I am a very calm person, but there was only so much denial of reality that I could take. It's still blurry, but I said a lot of horrible things to her and am in the process of evicting her from my life. I am canceling everything that is in my name that she is a part of, including the new phone line, canceling her car insurance and reclaiming my car that I gave her and she has trashed. Apparently, I can handle lies, cheating, and secrets, but who knew theft was my line? Learning experience. Now thinking back, I can identify lots of sketchy shit that my love goggles blinded me to, but there's a pretty strict character limit. You know, gambling addiction it also fits so perfectly into that story that I did not.
I had no idea.
To be fair, the theme is cheating, but
But that was a fun little surprise.
But you know, also in my mind, like,
not for him, but yeah.
like. Cheating to me, like obviously we talk about cheating in regards to like romantic and sexual cheating. Cheating to me is also just a matter of like living a life that you're not communicating with your partner.
Yeah.
Like that is it's more about the lying aspect and going off and gambling and not telling your partner. I'm like, that's cheating. Like you're going like
That's hard because that seems like an addiction.
yeah, and that's it's also a devastating addiction.
Yeah,
like
it's really
it is
sad,
a endless well of an addiction that is
A
very
well.
as he described, but like really she sounds like a horrible mess. I mean, it's sad, but also
But he's recognizing, now he gets to recognize all the flags like, oh, I gave her the car, she trashed it, she's on my phone line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also like, you know, this stuff like even with an open relationship, like not communicating and lying and like disappearing and then making them feel bad is still not acceptable. You know, you still got to call it quits on that. So I'm glad he's recognizing it and getting out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Poor
was
guy.
a wild ride.
Yeah, that was really, I feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him too.
I
but
feel bad for her a little bit.
I do feel bad. Oh, well, it sounds like she has serious issues. Because that also fits with gambling addiction where when you're accused, you're going to be like, hey, you, like whatever. Sad.
I thought for sure she was boning that guy.
Me too.
Well, he wouldn't have cared about that,
Yeah.
as he said.
Apparently
And
he
that's
didn't
why
care.
and that's why the cheating is that. It's like it's just deception.
It's deception.
In any form.
All right, next story. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance she looked weird on our wedding night?
God damn.
Damn.
Golly.
Okay.
Idiots.
Okay. Me, a 32-year-old man.
Of course.
I've been dating Sarah, 29, for over 2 years. I love her to death, and she means the world to me. Also, she is a person who is comfortable with her skin and doesn't use a lot of makeup, which I really adore about her. And we always tell the truth to each other no matter what.
Okay, Alicia Keys.
Yesterday was our wedding, and the moment I saw her, there I was, shocked. She used a huge amount of makeup that I barely recognized her without hearing her voice. She saw my facial expression that I was acting a little out of the ordinary, and she asked me what's wrong. I told her that it's nothing, but she looked a little weird with all that makeup on her face. She tried to laugh it off and started talking to her other friends. To be honest, at that moment, I really didn't think I said something wrong, especially since she didn't say anything. However, when we went home, she started to give me the cold shoulder treatment. I told her what's wrong, and she said it's nothing, and she doesn't feel well, and she is tired, etc. To be honest, I think she's hiding something, and that got me wondering if what I said may be the reason. So, am I the asshole?
Yes. I feel like to say a little weird was too much. He could have just said, "Oh, I'm not used to seeing you with all this makeup. Look at you. Wow,
Like,
you know."
I've never, I don't see you like this that often. You look great. Like,
And also, I feel like he's downplaying that it's their wedding day.
that is a very good point.
Like, let's not forget. Like she was a little tired after the wedding that they planned, and they probably put a lot of money into, and the
Probably
beat that
sat
she
in front of
got.
like a makeup chair for like an hour, you know.
Yeah, and paid a lot of money for the wedding makeup.
Yeah, he could have looked around and been like, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then
Forgot.
if he had told me that on our wedding day, hey, you look kind of weird. I'm like, will death do us part?
She just wanted a Princess Diana wedding. That's all she wanted.
That's all she wanted. These are also, you get in all this makeup for photos. Photos that you will have forever, that you will hopefully pass on to your children and your grandchildren.
Right.
That'll be like, that will be what people remember you for. And he's saying, you look a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. It just
Yeah.
really sucks. I feel like all that matters is if she's feeling good. Like, if she's loving how she looks, then it's like, who cares? Like, but he just clearly seems super unaware of everything.
I feel like, okay, this is not all men. There is some men are not all men. There's something about men and weddings, and they get really weird around them. Is what 30-year-old female here. 31. There's something like it's the excessive drinking because they're super freaked out.
they're nervous.
It's the this is my wife forever. Like assuming we're talking about like heterosexual. There's something about like men start acting really goofy around weddings, but it's like you had a while. We've been engaged for however. Like I don't know. It just I don't understand it. It doesn't compute to me.
Yeah, I mean, I truly don't know what to say other than like, I guess what I could see that a lot of guys do is that men, I think, very often internalize a lot of thoughts, right? And so there's probably a lot going on in his head. So he probably isn't thinking about so much because he's probably got a lot going on in his head. So he's saying really dumb things that if you thought about for 1 second, you'd go, oh, I shouldn't say that. But he's almost not present. It feels like a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But we have some comments here. You're the asshole. I find it hard to believe you barely recognized your wife. She was the one in the wedding dress. He said, I meant it as a metaphor that her face was totally different. Someone said, you're the asshole. On the day she's meant to feel beautiful and stunning and desirable to her new husband, you pulled a funny face and told her she looked weird. What a shitty start to a marriage. Poor Sarah. He said, I didn't mean it as if she isn't beautiful. I meant it's just out of the ordinary since she never uses makeup. Someone said, you definitely could have worded that better. No one wants a, you look weird on their wedding night, especially when you're expecting to feel beautiful and in love. She probably felt ugly for the rest of the day. And he said, I didn't mean she looked ugly. I meant it's different only. Yeah, but she doesn't know that. It's the day after their wedding and he's on Reddit typing this up and asking Redditors about this.
About
it's
that.
like, dude,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like,
They have not consummated that marriage.
no, man, this is.
I will also, you know what makes me sad for her too is like, I feel like when I feel like you want to look good for your partner on your wedding day, right? So she was probably also very intentional about like, this is gonna make me feel good and he's gonna love it, right? Or it's like, oh, he loves my hair up or down, or like, and also I feel good, right? Like,
Right.
I, at least like from my perspective, that's what I would take into consideration. Like, I'm also like presenting myself to my husband. And so it's like, for you to put all this work in and like you're in this thousands of dollars dress and then for him to be like,
I know.
you're mid.
I know. Yeah, devastating.
Not all men.
Someone else said,
Not all men.
yeah. So there's an edit from the OP. He said, thank you, everyone. I realize how I totally f***ed up and how my comment was misinterpreted. I will apologize to her and try to fix things.
Amen.
All right. Am I the asshole for calling my 8-year-old niece ugly?
Let's hear them out. Let them cook.
This was posted today as of reading
Oh, really?
this right now. It says
This is some
today.
alpha male shit.
So someone called their 8-year-old niece ugly today.
Great.
Okay. This is a 20-year-old dude. My older sister, who's 32, and her husband have an 8-year-old niece who I adore. She's smart, extremely precocious, and very funny. She's also, simply put, very unfortunate looking.
Just such an ugly.
I'm sorry. That's so...
Look, you're smart. You're smart and stuff, but you're freaking ugly.
Neither her parents are ugly, but she received the worst possible combination of their features.
Oh,
Maybe in
no.
time she'll grow into it with time, but currently she is, as I said, unfortunate looking. My sister and her husband try to circumvent this by constantly calling her pretty, beautiful, gorgeous, etc. I get that every parent is going to see their kid that way, but I don't think it's a good idea to constantly praise her for beauty. Why? Kids are cruel and they'll let her know she's not beautiful. So all praising her looks does is reinforce that beauty is something to be desired and praised for, all the while with her knowing she doesn't have it. It's much better, in my opinion, to boost her self-esteem off the many good traits she does have, so she doesn't have to rely on looks for her confidence. My sister and her husband don't seem to understand this or disagree with it, which is fair enough. Their call as parents, but they insist that I call her beautiful too, and I said no and explained why. I do praise her a lot for her intelligence, her sense of humor, etc. They say that she is beautiful and I need to call her beautiful so she knows it. So I said bluntly that no, if we're being honest, she's ugly, and kids will let her know she's ugly. So bringing up beauty will only make her see it as something worthy of praise she doesn't have. My sister started screaming at me for calling her daughter ugly. I know it can be a sensitive topic, but she's a grown adult, and I think she should be able to handle honesty on the subject. She thinks I'm a huge asshole, but I'm just trying to be realistic and do what I think is best for my niece.
Oh man.
I,
So he
20
didn't-
childless, would like to tell my...
He didn't say to her face she's ugly. I thought at the
That's what
beginning.
I thought.
thought
Yeah,
at the
but with
beginning of
those
the story,
huge fucking ears, she heard it.
God damn.
I think there's something kind of there like it's not that like I don't think he has a point here. Like I don't think
we do not under any circumstances gotta hand it to him.
no. But like isn't that kind of weird for like the parents to be like, you have to call her beautiful? Like that's also like weird, but also
Yeah.
okay.
The conversation sounds like it was weird from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
just so funny to think of the parents like, you have to call him beautiful, and he's like, yeah, but I mean, you've seen her, right?
Are we looking at the same person? Just like walking into a home improvement store, like, and like smashing every mirror, like, right this way, sweetie. Just walk on by, it's fine. They didn't have it today.
She's never seen a reflection. I will say, like, beautiful is a very like all-encompassing term. That means a lot of things, and this guy is thinking entirely looks, and it's like calling someone beautiful is also like you're a beautiful person.
Sure, yeah.
You are a beautiful being. Okay, this guy, I do not agree with him at all. What I will say that I do.
Here comes the butt, which is what they say when they see her face walking toward him. Am I right? Am I right?
Damn,
God damn.
dude.
Got her. She got jabbed.
Damn.
Let's go.
He's one of those 8-year-old bangers.
As someone who started in the acting industry very young, and I've seen it with a lot of people, like he has there is a point of, yes, like constantly making a kid like be like, yes, you're so pretty, like you're pretty, and having that be like the primary adjective that you're giving to a kid of like,
Especially for
you're
women.
worthy. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, like with my nieces and nephews now, I don't have this situation, but like I try to use so many different adjectives to be like, yeah, like your worth is more than your appearance. Like, but I grew up, you know, being in the acting industry. Your appearance was heavily pushed on you, and it was like, oh, you're gorgeous.
you were reminded.
You got this. Like you're gorgeous, and it's like, oh, so if I don't have that, I'm
Yeah.
screwed, and it is damaging. I do see that, but you're also, you can call your niece beautiful. Like there's that,
Yes.
yeah. Like this is weird.
Because I've heard that before too, where like, you know, I'm not a parent, but it's a matter of like, you know, complimenting everything. Like you're so creative, you're so smart. Like, and that makes sense. And I understand you with the acting aspect of like, I grew up and, you know, I always struggled with my weight. And if I ever lost any, he'd be like, oh, you're looking thin, you're looking good. And I had really bad stomach issues in my early 20s to the point where like the same frame I am now, just so people are like aware of reference, I'm like 194. I was 137 at my lowest, very sick, not doing well, looked like a skeleton. People would be like, you're looking great. And like, I hate that. But like, the idea that he just couldn't call his niece beautiful because that's a lie, but he just wants to say everything else. Like his heart is in the right place for the other stuff, but he's just not following through on that aspect. Like, and also telling an 8-year-old like, you're so smart. It's like, no, they're not. They can't even do long division yet.
Yeah.
I'm smart.
Right.
So like, it's a lie no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
8-year-olds are great.
Some comments here. You're the asshole. Everything you said about it not being good to put beauty on a pedestal and act like that's what's important is true. You're right about the overall attitude. But saying to her parents that she is ugly is completely unnecessary and incredibly rude asshole behavior.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Someone else said, you're right to want to compliment other things to balance out the perception that physical beauty is most important. But why do the two need to be mutually exclusive? What benefit is there to calling her ugly? Why not, I don't know, do what you can to make her feel less ugly while also highlighting all her other great qualities. And you're right that she'll run into her fair share of bullies in her life. My heart breaks for her that her own uncle is her first one.
There we go.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
'cause
true.
It's based off of his judgment that he's like, well, I know she's ugly. It's like, she's 8.
I feel like he's like almost there. You
Yeah.
know, like he's like almost there, and he just gotta just.
I know a lot of people from this industry that dealt with that too, where yes, teens and your peers when you're growing up are going to be awful to you, but there's nothing more devastating than your own authority figures
That sucks.
backing that shit up.
Yeah.
That makes you feel like you have no support system, that no one in life, like, you know, like, do you think to agree, like, it's great to have parents or authority figures in your life that you look up to who are like, they believe in me and they see it, even if I don't and the people around me don't. And that's huge to have, and he's just not seeing that. So that's sad, but hopefully he'll learn. Am I the asshole for being very harsh? It's a 36-year-old woman. My son, who's 14, has been acting out a lot. I'm trying to give him appropriate consequences, etc., but his father/my ex just undoes everything I try to implement. My ex, a 36-year-old man, doesn't care if our son does anything as long as it doesn't affect his athletic abilities, and it's created a cool dad and evil mom dynamic. Anyways, I had a mini vacation planned for the weekend. I have a family-owned house in this beach town, and my son and stepdaughters love going down there. The thing is, I got a call from a friend saying that her daughter is a mess because of my son. He asked the poor girl out, and when she said yes, he laughed at her and said some really cruel things. I was horrified. I asked him about it, and he rolled his eyes and told me that it was just a joke. When I tried telling him that these jokes hurt, he told me I was being ridiculous and that his dad and stepmom would think it's funny. He then said that he wishes I was as cool as his stepmom. I told him that I'm his mother and that my first priority is being his mom, not being cool. I then told him that we're no longer going to the beach house. He also has to apologize to the girl, and if he ever bothers her or any other girl again, then the consequences will be a lot worse. I then proceeded to drive him to the girl's house and made him apologize to the girl in front of her mom. He said he was sorry, and I also said it. I bought her a necklace and took the money for that from my son's allowance as well. The girl was a lot happier, and her mom said she appreciated the apology. While driving back home, my son started yelling at me and said that that was the most embarrassing thing he's ever had to do. I told him to imagine how the girl felt when he did that to her in front of everyone. He just said whatever and was like, "Can we go to the beach now?" I said no, we can't and we won't. He started yelling again and said that I was doing too much over a joke, and that if the girl accepted the apology, then why am I making things so difficult for him? He also said that since I embarrassed him, this was the least I could do. He later called my ex, who told me that I was a major asshole for being so harsh, and he more or less repeated what my son said. I don't think I'm the asshole in the slightest, but I see how I'm being harsh. Just wanted some perspective because my ex, his wife, and my son are begging me to reconsider and relax. Am I the asshole?
No.
No.
No, I think that she is totally getting ganged up on by them. And if her son is doing that, then he is just going to get worse towards
Oh my
women
God.
and anyone. I mean, he's yelling at his, like, I don't know. That makes me pissed.
Yeah,
I just went through a dark hole, like thinking about if I got married, if I got like divorced and,
You're with someone who was that bad.
and the stepmom was just like, yeah, just make fun of her. In front
I
of
know.
her.
It's like
bleh.
so stepmom stereotype crazy in my head.
It
It's
is.
like crazy.
That's psycho behavior, because that's that's like intentional, planned out, like shittiness.
Yeah.
A lot of comments here. Not the asshole. Way to be an awesome parent and hold your child accountable. I can definitely see why you split with from the ex. Like, in what world is it a joke to screw with another person's emotions like that? I would have done the same thing if I had kids. She responded, "Thank you. I'm really trying. I love my son and I don't want him to grow up thinking he can do whatever he wants to people. My ex, he actually cheated on me and that's why we split, but his attitude was definitely a huge factor as well. I'm not surprised by that."
No, I'm just surprised. Oh God, all of this must hurt for her.
I know. I feel this one deeply.
Not the asshole. Your ex probably taught him it was okay to treat women less than. There was a post yesterday, I think, about a single father who bought his young daughter flowers from a florist just because. His colleagues saw him and said he was wrong for creating unrealistic expectations. Your ex is like that colleague who doesn't understand how to treat women correctly, and he's blaming men who do treat women with respect for making getting women difficult for men like him. I'm guessing it has something to do with the reason he is your ex. He's also teaching his son not to treat women correctly. You did the absolute correct thing here.
Oh my God, in the indie movie version of this, we're being told both stories at the same time. Her marriage with said ex and the story of the son, and they're both happening at the same time. And while she's driving him to the kid's house to apologize, we're seeing the way that the son treated the kid similar to the dad treating her. And
Yeah.
she's like, I won't raise
Parallel.
my ex this way. And it's directed by Greta Gerwig.
Don't give up. Don't give up your movie idea.
She's gonna do that! Lady Bird 2.
Lady Bird 2.
Nuts. This is nuts.
Yeah, it's really sad. It does shock me. Like, it really does shock me. All right, we have an update.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh God, I have a feeling it's gonna break my heart.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to make this post before I move on. I kept my word, no beach house no matter what my ex, his wife, and my son said about me. It was hard and I broke down on Sunday because even though I know my son loves me and that he's just angry, hearing him say that he wishes I wasn't his mother over and over hurts a lot. Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
On Sunday, May 1st, after my breakdown, I told him that he can stay with his dad for the week. My ex was going to have him for the weekend anyways. So yeah, Sunday evening I took my son out. I wanted to try one more time to make him understand, tell him I love him, and that's why I'm being so strict. I took him to a park we used to go to, just him and I. I usually took him there when my ex and I would fight and he would leave us for days to see his sister.
Oh my God.
He was pretty moody the entire time and called me crazy for wanting to eat on the grass a little, but he complied. I asked him if he remembered the spot, and he said yeah. I then talked to him about everything. I also reminded him that there is nobody in this world and beyond that I love more than him. He was silent the entire ride to his dad's house, and I thought I f***ed up until we arrived and he said, I love you too, Mom. It was so hard to keep the tears in. I had to take a break from driving home because of how emotional I was. Monday and Tuesday were calm and nothing out of the ordinary. Wednesday night was different. My husband and I were out while the girls were with my in-laws when I got a call from my son. He was quiet but asked if I could pick him up. I called my ex, who just told me that our son was being dramatic, but I was welcome to take him. It was obvious that he and his father had a pretty bad argument about something. I asked him what happened since ex kept telling me it was nothing. Turns out my ex cheated on his wife. His wife confronted him and brought up the fact that he cheated on me. My ex proceeded to insult me and call me names to her. My son heard everything and put it together. My son was distressed, and I really wish he didn't have to find out. Not like this. When we got home, my son collapsed in my arms and kept saying he was really sorry for everything. I managed to calm him down, and he fell asleep on the couch. I was stuck with him in the most uncomfortable position all night, but all I cared about at that moment was my son. I didn't know I could love and care for someone this much. I never planned on having children, so this was a huge concern of mine. But the love I have for my son is crazy. He's a bit awkward, which makes sense. 14-year-old boys don't normally burst into tears and not let their mothers out of their grasp, but it'll be fine. I know it'll be a very long road, but it'll be worth it. Thanks for being supportive.
I'm so deep in this one right now.
Yeah, I was not expecting that ending. I thought it was gonna get worse. I thought the son was gonna like kill someone.
That makes me want to cry.
I thought he was gonna cheat on everyone at school.
What? That's your indie movie talking. That's not real. That's your that's like season 2 of this indie.
No, it's not. No, it's. Oh my God, people are crying in the room. Oh my God. No, that's not the indie movie. This is the indie movie.
Oh, Anne.
No, I'm thinking I'm doing too much Reddit stories because I was blowing it out of the water. I was like, what's the worst version?
But it's so unbelievably sweet because it's like if she didn't have that talk with him, he wouldn't have understood that she was actually just trying to teach him morals.
And what
He had to learn the hard way, oh, this is what you were trying to teach me,
Yeah, and what she was trying to teach him wasn't cool, right? And what the other household stood for, the cool thing, wore off, and he got to see it, literally.
Well, it was a facade.
Yeah,
He was like, it's a facade. This is all
that
fake.
his dad was just cheating and didn't respect women.
And also by proxy doesn't care about his son. Really,
Yeah,
it
calling
shows-
him dramatic, calling people crazy.
being like,
Again, projecting.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad must be in a lot of pain. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
His dad's a piece of shit. And also, I guess the stepmom knew that the dad cheated on her and then was shocked when he cheated on her as well. It's
Well,
you can see a pattern there.
But that's what's so crazy about cheating and deception, lying, and all this stuff. It's just that there's a scary generational part where it's you grow up watching people lie or you don't, and you see how that is navigated in the home. And that's touchy and hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that mother handled it was fucking badass.
Badass. She pushed past her pride and her pain and just said what she felt, which was I love you. This is what's important. And I don't think if she did that, I think that he would have felt really alone and not called her. I think she opened up the door for him to be vulnerable.
Well, she showed she cared so much. She cares about him, but she's really trying to communicate with him.
And she's that's what I mean, how it's it works for all ages. Like stopping him at school from doing that is stopping the habit from it becoming that's what I mean, and her having that talk and making him do that really uncomfortable thing probably stops that uncomfortable feeling and making that a comfortable thing that his dad probably started young, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah, I mean at 14, hopefully he will not turn out like his dad.
because of that really influential part.
Yeah.
I was so deep into that. Of course, make him sit on the grass.
And have that moment that he'll remember for the rest of his life where your mom is like, I want you to know that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want you to remember how awful it felt when we drove all the way back and you apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because the dad has no empathy.
Yeah.
Doesn't ever do that.
Because no one took the time
No.
to feel like that. Because she felt awful when she did that.
And it's kind of what I talked about earlier. If you don't reconcile, if you don't look inward and deal with these things that you do kind of lose your soul more and more.
And you pass it on.
Yeah. And you teach that
Generations.
behavior of no empathy. And it's really sad. And it's probably a very lonely life, frankly, that dad is living. To just not care about anyone, that is a loveless life.
He's the one who loses in this story.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to end up with nobody. he'll be 70 and there's going to be nobody in his life.
Correct.
That's just what happens.
And his son is not going to want to go visit him or
Yeah.
hang out.
There was one comment here. Former 14-year-old butthead here, divorced home and all the fun stuff. Great
Butthead.
job, mama. I'm 36 now with a 1.5-year-old of my own. 1.5-year-old of my own. My mom fighting my ignorance, bullheadedness, peacocking, and all the other nonsense I put her through has made me a much better man. Boy, did we have our blowouts. I am so close with her now. Talk with her daily. Send her pictures of her grandson. She recently moved across the country to be closer to us, and I couldn't be happier. I can't say how smooth the rest will be for you, but I have faith you and him will have a stronger bond for all of this. Yeah.
Okay, this makes me want to cry.
Don't let the dam break.
Like, I felt it welling, and now I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. It's...
That's so sweet that he messaged her that because I think that moms like feel like they're not doing the right thing probably, and they're like, especially like I feel like women when they have sons, like both my sisters have sons, and when they had sons, they were like, I don't know what I'm doing. He eats like a whole chicken a day, and he broke his ear. I didn't know you could break an ear. My nephew broke his ear when he was little, and my sister was like, I don't know what to do.
That's
He broke
awesome.
his ear, and he's
Yeah.
just running over the house eating chicken, and I don't know. And like, I think it's so validating to know that maybe you won't see the results now, but years
You will.
later you will.
So
sweet.
You will.